Wow. Oof. Chat replay? Yikes. First, hell yeah, Iceblade. How's it going, buddy? Everything sound good? Oh, hell yeah. We can watch. Wait, there's a full season 2. What about season 1? It's fine. Hell yeah. Oh, we're putting Vegeta there. God damn it, Kakarot. Okay, cool. We can watch the full doggo thing. Let me get to where I was at before.
What were you doing? Now we're speeding. Nice guy.
Now we're speeding, brother.
Scot free.
English license, what can they do?
Yeah, he said, oh, well, we'll have to suspend your license if you're doing the speed and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. We just made general conversation. You know what? Okay, take your documents, be careful, goodbye.
Yeah, because they know that they were hoping you were going to pay money.
And of course. That's how I don't have any money on me. They said, can you give me an MMA t-shirt? I said, I don't have any in the car, but you can have this one if you want. I'll drive home with no shirt. It's no problem. And he said, no, if you drive with no shirt, they pull you over. They think you're a gypsy who stole a car. I laughed. Hey, let me go. Underground. Young nigger got it hard because I'm brown. Don't trust the police. No justice, no peace. They got your face down in the middle of the...
Shut the fuck up.
Based.
Welcome back to the most pointless.
Okay. Well, let's just go through this. We've seen all this
They're the
before.
best aim you've ever seen with an ashtray. Like fucking sniper.
Yep, we've seen it. We got it.
I post cat pictures on Instagram. Hashtag when I feel afraid, I lock myself in the sauna, hoping Andrew isn't going to beat the shit out of me. That one's irrelevant. I don't know how that got there. But hashtag when I feel afraid.
Yeah, you know.
Bye,
if I was
Iceblade.
a better person, which I'm
God
not,
damn it.
as much as I'd like to think I'm perfect, I'm not. If I was a better person, I'd stay off social media. You know, like I genuinely think I'm a happy guy. People say, oh, and Tate complains all the time. He's miserable. He's unhappy. No. I'm a happy, miserable bastard. The more miserable I am, the happier I feel. So I'll let you work that math out. But the more I get to complain, I love nothing more than going to a Christmas party and saying, this is shit.
Hello,
The more I
Machine
complain,
Gun
the
Kitty.
happier I am.
How's it
So
going,
I'm
buddy?
not an unhappy person, but I know that the best life possible for me would be to go to fucking take all my money, go to Bhutan or Tibet or somewhere no one can find me, buy a house bigger than a football field, get some servants, and just spend my whole life just doing martial arts in the garden, being a ninja.
What is he ranting about?
Some press up.
Fuck knows. I kind of don't want to watch this. It's cringe. I can't wait to get over with that video because I'm sick of hearing his voice.
I know from watching the first 10 seconds.
Anyway, we're gonna watch Lonerbox because Lonerbox has very nice voice. Holy shit, what are you watching? Well, never mind. Yeah, damn right, it's gone now. What are you gonna do about it, huh, Blanket? What are you gonna do about it? Sorry.
Of Hakeem's video in Ukraine,
I'm
we're
sorry.
gonna have to do a whole thing of just.
Are you nearly
explain-
done with it? I'm most of the way through. Like, I just gotta actually sit there and do it. Sorry, Blanket.
Why the Soviet Union actually fell. Okay, Hakeem video on how the West destroyed Ukraine. Can't think of anyone else who has
True.
got anything to do with destroying Ukraine right now, but okay, let's see.
Hello.
Hello.
Ukraine has been in the news plenty these last 2 years, but what exactly was Ukraine like before all of this? Let's take a look. In 1991, Ukraine supposedly gained independence following the illegal and undemocratic dissolution of the USSR against the will of the overwhelming
No,
majority of the
the West
nation's
is not
population.
Donald Trump.
Ooh,
No. This guy Hakeem is is very much a communist, so very pro-Russia. So he's saying the West is to blame for Russia invading Ukraine. That's what his position's going to be.
that's a lot of things. He said a lot of things. Okay. Gained independence after the dissolution of the USSR against the will of the majority of its population. Like every sentence there is like every section of that sentence is false. It's like, all right, let's do a breakdown. First of all, when anyone says illegal, unconstitutional, and this is why we don't like it, especially if they are a revolutionary, they don't care. No one cares about law, okay? And
Hang on. This is what I sent to Food Shops. Hang on. Oh no, it's not going to show up on here. Okay, never mind. I basically sent, "Can I be a disgusting clout chaser and get a raid after you're done?" And then I put like the fucking cat from the Shrek movie. What's his name? Puss in Boots, and he's doing the big kitten eyes.
constitutionality,
True.
if you're a revolutionary. I'm sorry, like you only appeal to that when you're maybe not too sure about what the
Obama.
moral argument is. That's it. Sorry. Liberals like laws, you know? Center right people like laws. They like law quite a lot, actually. Law and order. Not these guys, okay? Was the Russian
Yikes.
Revolution legal or constitutional? Like, come on. Does that make it bad that it was illegal? Not really, no. So what's he referring to when he says the majority will of the population? He'll be talking about this. He will be talking about the referendum in 1991, because this is how the narrative goes, okay? If you're an apologist for the Soviet Union, you refer to this. You refer to a referendum in 1991 where the peoples of the Soviet Union, 15 republics, were asked, do you consider it necessary to preserve the union of Soviet Socialist republics as a renewed federation of equal sovereign republics, in which the rights and freedoms of a person of any nationality will be fully guaranteed? To which 77.85% say yes. So 77% plus say yes, 22% no. And not long after this, by the end of the year actually, December, the Soviet Union is dissolved. Damn, how'd that happen? So everyone votes to stay in the Soviet Union, but then they dissolve it. That's crazy, chat. That's insane.
It's
A few
crazy.
gaps though, okay? First of all, this referendum, he doesn't mention, the people don't mention that this referendum was boycotted by 6 different republics, okay? And also, there's a very important caveat here: a renewed federation of equal sovereign republics. What does that mean?
Just
It's
notice
referring
you got
to,
some nice wall art. Very nice. Yes, the best part is, and I need to show this, is yeah. Anyway.
reforming the system, democratizing, etc. That's what it's referring to. And the problem is that this part here, that staying in the Soviet Union and preserving it was
I
contingent
might be
on,
retarded.
didn't happen. These reforms failed. And in part of these reforms failing was that in August of this year, March, so August is later, there was a coup. There was an attempted coup by communist hardliners who wanted to get rid of Gorbachev and Yeltsin. They arrested Gorbachev. They tried to arrest Yeltsin, but failed. And in those 3 days of them attempting to coup the government, they tried to institute a state of emergency, and they paused political activity, and they started trying to ban like newspapers and outlets. In those 3 days, that was what it was going to look like if they were actually successful. Now, the coup failed, and obviously, these people, after seeing these reforms fail and seeing almost a communist hardline coup on the government, that was when the republics of the Soviet Union were like, whoa, fuck this. Like, we are never taking a chance with these guys again. And something that Hakeem doesn't mention is very shortly after this coup, actually the same month, one country in particular, followed by a number of other ones, declared independence. The first one was Ukraine, August 24th. They declared independence.
Yes.
Other countries had been rebelling before that. The Baltics were very, very rebellious before this, all the way from like the late 80s. Because I guess the point is that the 15 republics of the Soviet Union, which are, can I remember them? Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Ukraine, Russia, Belarus, Moldova, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. Did I miss any? Yeah. There's a lot of instability, okay? Because
Mm.
the Soviet Union was not necessarily formed due to the consensus of all the people living in it. Believe it or not. Turkmenistan, did I forget Turkmenistan? Imagine forgetting Turkmenistan. Like, all these
Imagine
countries were not
forgetting
just brought into the Soviet
Turkmenistan. What is
Union
wrong
of
with
their
you?
own free will, okay? The Baltic states, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, were annexed in the 1940s by the Soviet Union as part of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. That's why, and as a result of this pact between Stalin and Hitler in 1941, no, wait, 39, fuck me. As a result of this pact, 41 was obviously when it broke. Yeah. So as a result of this pact, these countries stayed in the Soviet Union all the way up until the 90s, right? So there's a lot of unrest. It takes a lot of suppression and a bit of an iron boot to sustain that kind of system.
True. I am the biggest grifter. How's it going, Masaki? Long time no see.
Which is why you have a lot of unrest, you have protests, you have riots, you have already like Warsaw Pact states like Poland, Germany, all that like falling to bits under Soviet rule. You've got fall of the Berlin Wall. You've got situations, say, like in the 50s where you've got Christian.
Hello, princess. Hey, what are you doing? Cat's losing her shit. Room is falling apart. Aussie's just staring at me on the floor. This place is a nightmare.
Of having to
honestly
send tanks to quell unrest in Hungary. And that's why the communists in the UK who supported it became called the Tankies, because there was a split in the British Communist Party where some of them supported Khrushchev rolling tanks to suppress unrest in Hungary. Others opposed it.
Come on in, Benji.
And the ones who opposed it called the ones who supported it Tankies because of tanks. The first people to ever use that word were other communists against communists. Yeah, which is very typical. So anyway, you've got the August coup after this in March. You have a failed coup by communist hardliners. Everyone at this point in the Soviet Union is like, whoa, fuck this. We have no interest in trying to carry on this project at the risk of that happening again. So they start having...
Oh, you know what? I know what we're going to watch. Because this is an old video, you know? I just came here to listen to your voice while I'm asleep. Aw. That's so wholesome. You know what we're also doing? Can you guess? We are watching Professor Dave. Oh, hang on. Did he remove all of the TOS shit from it? Or should I just watch Destiny watch it? If he likes colonialism so much, we can call him Manifest Destiny. That's actually hilarious. Should I not watch it? He did remove the docs? Okay, good. Guys, it's only 78% destroyed. Relax. True! Isn't he like removing a lot of the comments? Yeah, engagement. Destiny has no foundation left. Dude has no reason to exist. True. Just a comment for engagement. Thanks, Steve. Oh, this guy's wholesome. I have Zionism fatigue. Or maybe you should get off the internet sometime. Jesus Christ. I love you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, but stay safe. Oh my god, his life's so in danger. Do a video about Lonerbox. True. He'd get fucking destroyed by Lonerbox. Oh yeah, I showed this to someone the other day in Food Shop's Gen Chat, but this guy's channel's kind of fucking cooked. Like, he gets a bunch of views from screaming about Anthony Fauci. Maybe we should watch that too. Stalker, actual scientific content gets no views. Gets over 1 million views talking about Destiny. Like, dude, he has like 4 million subscribers, but whenever he does like scientific content, he gets like 5k views. That's rough. Well, like I can talk shit. I only have like I've probably got like 2 videos with 1K views. You know, he's way better than me. But to be honest, like the science stuff seems way more interesting. Yeah, it's a huge discrepancy, big time. Like, he gets this because he's talking about an organization. These are like pretty, these are like worse than iDubbbz numbers, you know what I mean? Like, and he's got a comparable subscription count. Like, he's got about 4.4. Let's see iDubbbz. Just to snark on the guy a little bit. And then this is iDubbbz, right? Like, he's got just like he's got about, you know, nearly 3 mil more subs. But you know, he gets at least he's getting at least 100K fucking views. You know, you see, like I kind of theorized that he was kind of doing the same thing as iDubbbz a little bit, right? He's talking about a big content creator and implying like a bunch of fucked up shit to get views, I guess. But anyway, that's iDubbbz. Hello, iDubbbz.
Hey, everyone.
Now to watch, Mr. Dave. Dave's not here, man.
It's been a minute since I dropped this Hiroshima bomb.
Hiroshima, that is extremely offensive to the people of Hiroshima. I demand an apology. Does he think the nuclear holocaust and all of those people dying is funny? Disgusting behavior.
Immaculately laying out the case for Israel's genocide against Palestinians and dunking on Destiny, the fake
and Pangburn too. I don't know much about Pangburn. I know he hosts some debates and stuff, but yeah.
Progressive for denying said genocide. Well, now
is a genocide. True.
Now that the massive wave of damage control from his camp is over, it's time to drop the Nagasaki. So buckle up.
He made another joke about an horrific atrocity committed by the Western Empire against the innocent Japanese. You know, what did the Japanese do to deserve to get nuked?
If you haven't seen this video, go ahead and give it a watch first. It was a long time coming, given how much I've been talking about Israel and passing in other content, and I was quite
Pangburn has been releasing super long videos attempting to analyze Dave's videos to see if his claims were true, which they weren't.
Pleased to see how many eyes I was able to.
Listen, even, you know, let's just say, even if Destiny was sweeping for genocide, you know, it's Destiny, bro, you know? It's just Destiny, you know?
To open regarding the cesspool of
you gotta sweep, you know? He's a famous content creator. I'm parasocial.
Morality and disdain for human life that is Israel. Again, Destiny's
true. They have disdain for human life. That's why they got upset about their own people being killed.
Cult went absolutely ape
Hell
shit
yeah.
over it and brigaded my channel harder than any troll army has ever brigaded me before, perhaps with the singular exception of Matt Walsh's cult when I made some content about trans people. Congratulations, Destiny's cult. You're one notch less toxic than the Daily Wire lemmings. And I really mean just one small notch. While Matt's cult left comments shouting pedo and groomer literally every couple seconds for 2 full weeks. Destiny's cult left similarly toxic comments every 20 seconds or so for only 1 week, still desperately trying to change the optics in service of their loser hero. So I cut off their brigade just like I did for Matt, because that's what troll armies deserve, and they had a fucking conniption about that too. All of this activity was perhaps the
He censored his chat when he received criticism.
funniest part of the debacle to me. In my video,
I don't understand. Why make political content if you're concerned about people criticizing you in the fucking chat? So he wants it to go one direction, but he doesn't want it to come back. He's such a fucking crybaby.
I specifically showed what a Zionist smear campaign from a bot army looked
Like, I'm like nobody, but I got fucking bombarded with tons of hate comments. I don't give a fuck. What are they gonna do? Punch me through the fucking screen? I don't give a shit.
like. The fake copy-pasted Twitter posts that all use the same wording, the bot farm output on my channel
Okay, so someone used a bot. How do you know it was Destiny's community? I guess he wants to feel like he's right. Yeah, well, it's moral frogging, you know?
That was just thousands of instances of this dumb comment, and yet that's exactly what these dumbasses did to my Destiny video. Almost like they didn't know that their behavior was predicted in the first 5 minutes of the video they didn't watch. Thousands of comments that all mentioned something.
Unhinged take, and I'm unsubscribed. Dave becomes a flat earther. I'm gonna unfollow. Crazy person. Like, I don't understand what I don't understand. What is the highlighted stuff supposed to show? Him getting insulted?
About being brain broken and bringing up mental health and something about flat earthers. Dave is brain broken and he is the flat earther now, concerned for his mental health, profoundly transparent. This was, of course,
Yeah, because you're being unhinged. What do you expect?
happening on Reddit more than anywhere else with all the exact same language. Brain broken because he speaks out against genocide, totally not curated at all. And when they were deprived
Okay, so why would someone call you broken speaking out on genocide, Dave? Why would they say that? It's almost like they're criticizing your fucking view, right? It's almost like this is the problem, right? If you criticize whether or not something counts as genocide, it becomes genocide denial. You're not denying that genocides exist. You're just denying, you're not even denying, you're just saying it might not meet the threshold of a genocide. It can still be really bad. And this is the fucking problem dealing with, like, I can't believe the UN fucking did that shit where they just, because I found this the other day. The UN did the same thing with the term occupation, right? They stretched the meaning of the word they stretched the meaning of like a blockade to mean an occupation. And then they did the same thing with genocide. They stretched the meaning to encompass a conflict. Like, it's insanely stupid.
of their primary tactic, swarming a comment section with copy
It's just so that people can virtue signal like this. It's fucking boring.
paste spam comments to try and change the narrative. They had a complete meltdown.
Now we have to sit here and have a discussion over whether or not it's a genocide or not, instead of talking about, hey, you know, how can we make it so that there's a fucking ceasefire or something so that people stop dying? But these people don't give a shit about that. They just want a virtue signal.
All of this despite the fact that Destiny's cult actively encourages him to block people and delete their comments, and they even do it on his behalf. Check this shit out. Destiny's IG comments are being flooded. We need to step up. It's gotta be stupid Hassan Piker, and we need to do something. Just delete.
He does get brigaded, like, very obviously. He's constantly getting comments on all of his shit. Like, I'm sorry, like, am I supposed to believe that this is just random people finding Destiny online? Like, what the fuck are you on about?
The comments we don't like. Someone pull a double shift of deleting comments for me. Come on, warriors. And just blatantly talking about how curating comment sections for optics is the only thing that matters to them. Unreal. This is why completely erasing these loser hypocrites is the only correct course.
You're literally doing far worse. You made a political video, got comments on it, and then you, like, fucking censor it, and then you go, but look what Destiny does. He gets harassed and called a pedophile every fucking day. That's the same thing. Anyway.
Course of action. Letting them poison the optics is no good. If I combat their lies individually, I'm unhinged and crashing out. So instead, complete erasure is the obvious consequence, and they whine about that even though they specifically encourage it from their dear leader. Besides the meltdown from Destiny's cult, Destiny made a pathetic attempt at reacting to my video where he
Okay. First of all, genocide is funny. I'm just kidding.
basically just sat
I'm
there
kidding,
either
I'm
laughing
kidding.
and saying nothing, or skipping ahead frantically as I outlined the case for genocide he is ideologically bound to denying, like a young Earth creationist listening to a geology
Why aren't you showing that?
lecture. That was expected, of course, but the big surprise
It was expected, then why are you complaining about it? Like, I don't understand.
was Travis over at Pangburn having a total meltdown, making something like 50 hours of content.
He complains about people saying that he's having a meltdown and he's being psychotic, and then he does the same thing when someone, has a rebuttal to the things that he's saying and like factually like corrects him on things. So he's doing the exact same thing. Okay, good one.
About my one video, becoming progressively more and more unhinged as he went. Just take a look at the run times of these reaction videos, as well as the titles of the more recent ones. In fact, that's part of the reason for the delay in making this follow-up video. I had to wrap up my incredibly extensive Fauci video, and then I had a short family vacation, but I also just had to let this wave of damage control wrap up simply to maximize the comedic impact of this video. I mean, truly, this guy is off his fucking rocker.
Can you poison the well some more? I need more poison in my well. My well is not sufficiently poisoned.
In case you don't know who Pangburn is, he hosted my vaccine debate where Dan Wilson and I humiliated Pierre Corey and Steve Kirsch. He also platforms Destiny regularly through his anti-Trump tour. In fact, Destiny seems to be the only way this guy makes money these days, which would explain why he would expose himself by coming to Destiny's defense, especially after some previous scandals he's had that we will outline later in the video. But the mask-off, full-blown genocide denial from him was definitely unexpected. Anyway, we're gonna go through Destiny's...
Again, like, he's not playing any of the things that they're saying. He's just showing an image and then saying that they're saying genocide is not real.
train wreck of a response, followed by select
Train
highlights
wreck.
from Pangburn's marathon damage control session, since it's absolutely hilarious. And for the cherry on top, we're going to go way, way deeper into
Hello, I'm a
Destiny's
fucking... Oh, I'm drinking the poisoned well. Dry. Not a single fucking drop.
bizarre
Left.
sexcapades involving
Incredible.
minors in violation of consent. Because if his cult went this ape shit from my first video, why not give them a fucking nervous break?
Hello, Food Shops. Thank you for the raid. Oh my god. Yummy, yummy. Poisoned well in my tummy.
Down. Hornet's Nest, remember? Okay, let's get started by looking at Destiny's response. But which one? There are several. Every time Professor Dave lied in his hit piece. Was it really
It's not Destiny's channel.
a hit piece, since for the vast majority of it I was talking about Israel's genocide and not him? That seems dishonest. Destiny reacts to Professor Dave's takedown video.
Pressure's on? True.
WTF is this? This is me exposing you as a genocide denier. Oh, and then the damage control from the fans. Coward, deranged
Food Shops reference! Oh my gosh.
hit piece. He's hiding and scared. Look how unhinged I am in this AI-generated expression I've never made in my life.
True.
Destiny exposes Dave. He's so terrified. And Hassan Piker is in the thumbnail for literally no reason whatsoever. Dave's brain is broken. There's that phrase again.
Hey,
Okay,
Food
which
Shops,
one
thank
do we
you.
tackle? This long one seems to be the main one, so let's dig right into it, starting with the Stinger intro. Remember, the Stinger intro is always front-loaded with all the super awesome, most kick-ass moments where he is totally owning so hard. So if he's got any real ammo, we should see it right away, yeah? At any rate, influencers were being paid
Dave's brain is actually broken. True. No, you know what? He's actually based, and you're wrong. Okay, he owns Destiny in this debate. It is very epic. I am not retarded.
to disseminate the narratives that the state had settled on each day.
Who? Who? I keep hearing this claim. Who is getting paid? I haven't met anybody. I didn't get paid. Who is getting paid for this?
I am getting paid.
Source? Nope.
Yes, he is actually trying to pretend that Israel doesn't pay influencers to disseminate propaganda. It is absolutely trivial common knowledge that Israel does this.
We have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battles
Okay.
in which we're engaged.
Who?
And the most important ones are on social media. We have to fight back. How do we
True,
fight back?
true, he does.
Our influencers.
Yes, they fight with their weaponized influencers on social media, says Bibi himself. The most recent incarnation of this activity is called the Esther Project, financed through Bridges Partners LLC, where influencers are paid up to $7,000 per post to promote Hasbara narratives. As you just saw, Bibi has publicly admitted this, describing social media as the most important weapon,
Based. They should do this.
acknowledging that it's the reason they arranged for a Zionist takeover of TikTok, which we talked about in the other video. This
Just
has been
obviously
going on
common
well
sense.
before October 7th, so you bet your
True.
ass it was
It is
happening
common
with
sense.
the greatest intensity immediately after October 7th, since that was the most crucial period.
I guess maybe that opinionated girl, but I don't know outside of her. True.
for manufacturing consent from the American public for a pre-planned genocide America would be funding.
Just 3 days after October 7th, Israel launched an initiative to recruit social media influencers in the United States to defend Israel. A spokesperson said, "Fighting on social networks and influencing international public opinion is critical during wartime. The world must understand that Israel's struggle is one of light against darkness, a life-loving culture versus lowly terrorists." It's obvious why Israel needs propaganda. The only way to have a country based on legalized racial supremacy is through propaganda, like Nazi Germany and Jim Crow apartheid had, that twists the reality of the situation. And Israel actually has its own word for propaganda, which is Hasbara, which translates to
I am a member of the Hasbara. She took a photo with Bibi, I think. Oh. Well, based. Anyway, this is a Mossad funded stream. So please hit that like button. Show your support for Mossad and Israel. And yeah, you know, show that support.
explain in Hebrew. In the weeks
Or I'll dox you and find where you live in a video game.
following October 7th, Israel already had a lot to explain. A number of American influencers got emails offering them $5,000 and brand sponsorships in exchange for doing a single live stream supporting Israel. The email read, "I'm reaching out to you on behalf of a global collective of agencies, influencers, and content creators who are coming together to raise awareness about the difficult situation in Israel."
And that's American influencers. What the fuck did you think was happening in Israel? It wasn't just Elon Levy, one of the shitstains Destiny interviewed in his Israel adventures, who pushed the beheaded babies and other bullshit narratives. Hundreds of influencers posting round the clock. As I mentioned in my previous video, I heavily regret not documenting this period with extensive screenshots of all the Hasbara frauds and my efforts in exposing them. I recall that Hen Mazig was one. He's been posting pro-Israel propaganda all day, every day for years. Ella Keenan was another. She was the one who tried to smear me on LinkedIn, pretending to have been a viewer of mine who was disappointed with my anti-Semitism. The typical copy-paste script, which again, I should have documented. She flat out identifies as a digital marketing professional and content creator.
Hang on one sec.
Spearheading a diplomacy impact effort utilizing tens of thousands of social media users. In other words, since October 7th, she has been paid by Israel to organize and disseminate propaganda on social media full-time. She came up with the Hamas is ISIS bullshit that was blasted all over the internet and on my channel.
Okay, but why? But you literally say, like, people on the left literally say Israel is ISIS. Hassan did this today. Hang on. Literally, like, what the fuck are we on about? The only difference between Ben Gvir and an ISIS commander is that Ben Gvir is part of the war cabinet that uses F-35s. He's literally comparing Israel to ISIS, but then he's complaining. Okay, cool,
Since
whatever.
brand name recognition is important.
He's not Hassanabi. It doesn't count. Okay,
for
whatever.
getting Americans to hate random brown people. Hear it from her if you like.
What we do is...
True, I actually should have done that. Hang on. Also, hang on, wait. I gotta spell brain wrong. Bran broken and Israel lives settlement free in your head. That makes no sense, but whatever.
Let's call it digital assets that serve the Jewish people in a more strategic manner. We got to close to 3 billion views since the beginning of the war, completely organic. We work with communities of over 60,000 people around the world that make our content viral, but also help us
Where's the evidence of the bot farms? Also, okay, anyway. Spheres are perfect on account-based.
Anti-Semitic rhetoric and fake news, and therefore take it down, and other actions that do serve the narrative. Israelis and Jews in general, we tend to respond than to set the agenda and initiate. You know, they say genocide, we explain why it's not a genocide. They say apartheid, we explain why it's not, right? So I offered Hamas is ISIS.
Wait, what is he saying whenever she says that?
You know, they say genocide, we explain why it's not a genocide. They say apartheid, we explain why it's not, right? So I offered Hamas is ISIS, and I offered why, and I gave a short 101 on how we can garner attention and traction around that narrative, and that worked. So in 3 to 4 days, it became the most viewed narrative online. It became viral for almost 3 months around the world, in some places even more. And it even got to Biden's speech.
Again, this activity is a full-time job, which means they are paid for it. People don't do things full-time unless it earns them money. Israel.
You know, I'm really waiting for evidence. You know what I mean? Like, he's making a lot of good points, but he just hasn't actually given any evidence for anything. No way he puts big text to explain, because he can't have his audience listen to it without guidance. Yeah, literally. Like, why does I don't understand. Like, it's not that hard to show that people are receiving money from all of these different organizations. Yeah, this is just lazy. It's kind of boring.
Has a lot of money, and they spend it on shit like this. And while the prominent, well-paid influencers
mid-tent
orchestrated the
creator
propaganda, bot farms were also crucial in this endeavor.
But the most egregious part of Israel's online strategy is its use of fake bot accounts that spam pro-Israel comments and posts online. An investigation by the Al Jazeera Media Institute revealed hundreds of accounts created shortly after October.
She does fundraising and asks for money and always talks about it. Okay.
7th, with around 50 to 100 followers, pretending to be Arabs and constantly posting comments criticizing the Palestinians, regional resistance groups, and Iran. These accounts would mainly target pages that were popular in the Arab and Muslim world, like Al Jazeera and TRT. Their comments would mainly blame the Palestinians for the destruction they're facing and portray them as beggars who were ungrateful for the aid they were getting from other Arab countries. These accounts would also start dialogues with each other, where one fake account would post a comment and another fake account would respond.
He's just Zogzilla based. Okay, so I'm just gonna say this. This is very likely like true, but the same is true for like Qatar and that, right? You know, get these beggars out of here. True. You know, they wouldn't have their houses completely collapsed on top of them if they just pulled themselves up by the bootstraps. I'm kidding. That was a joke. Settle down. No, like, this is like just a common thing in warfare nowadays, right? It's actually really common for certain, like, for example, certain countries to do like the same, like to put agitating like social media posts out there with bots to like antagonize people on the opposite end as well, right? So I don't know why people can't look at this stuff with any form of objectivity, right? I don't know. It's kind of cringe.
Which indicates that they aren't individual accounts, but that they're part.
Like Russia would be putting out pro-Israel and pro-Palestine shit at the same time. Like that's just the thing they do.
Part of an organized effort. No one took responsibility for this, but Israel has admitted to using bot farms in the past. During Israel's massacre against Gaza in 2021, the Israeli army used bots to promote a hashtag, Gaza Regrets, to try to rally support for Israel's war. And while the military admitted it was using fake accounts and even apologized for it, the Israeli government continues to employ people to defend Israel online and pledged to target teenagers in its next online campaign.
And yet, despite all of this effort, public opinion of Israel is so firmly in the fucking toilet that Israel has quintupled down on this strategy and has approved an astronomical record budget of $730 million for Hasbara in 2026. Nearly $1 billion courtesy of Havas Media Group to convince people on social media that Israel isn't doing genocide. So I'm sorry, Destiny, you're either lying about not getting a slice of that, or you're a clueless asshat with no fucking idea what's happening, since Israel has been paying influencers unthinkable sums of money for many, many years. You might just be the only moron shilling for Israel for free purely to spite Hassan, which is mind-blowing. Fucking hell, that was only the first
Okay. Cool.
10 seconds. What could
Based.
possibly be next? They watched their land being usurped and given
You can't
settlers.
buy a based opinion.
Bullshit map. The map. Not the map.
Not the map. Not the map that illustrates how well over half of Palestine was taken to form Israel, and then most of what they were left with has been slowly stolen from them through settlements that are illegal under international law. How dare I use a map to illustrate apartheid and ethnic cleansing? Great rebuttal. Oh yeah,
Wait. I'm sorry. How much time did he give Destiny to make a point there?
Seconds. What could
It
possibly
was just,
be next?
oh no,
They
the
watched
map.
their land being usurped and given to settlers.
The bullshit map. The map. Not the map.
Not the map.
Right, so you gave him the words of the map to make his point, and then you just good
not
one,
the
bro.
map that illustrates
Good
how well
one.
over half of Palestine
Based.
was taken to form Israel, and then most of what they were left with has been slowly stolen from them through settlements that are illegal under international law. How dare I use a map to illustrate apartheid and ethnic cleansing? Great rebuttal.
Based.
Oh yeah, I promised some other dirt on this guy. As if the genocide denial wasn't enough, here's a few other tips.
Whoa! Can we... Pedophile. Let's go.
Here he is advocating for white nationalists murdering BLM protesters.
Oh yeah, the greatest hits. IMAX it up. Let's go.
Yes, the greatest hits, also known as a long list of absolutely heinous and disgusting shit you've said. Glad to see you're as amused by it as we are. And thus ends this stinger intro. Packed to the brim with ponage, as you can see. Yes, that really was all he could scrape together to front-load this fucking train wreck. But let's comb through the rest to really drive home how pathetic this was.
I think this guy got big mad that I called him anti-Semitic. Which, the video that he made criticizing that Avi Loeb dude, it absolutely was fucking weird as fuck.
No, my videos exposing Avi Loeb are not anti-Semitic. He's just on the anti-Zionism equals anti-Semitism train that I demolished in my video he's about to react to. So let's see how he handles that when he gets there.
Whether he is being paid by Israel or is genuinely just dumb enough to have fallen for Israeli propaganda and is in too deep now to admit it, I can't say. But he recently decided to poke the hornet's nest by
Hey,
doing a
look, it's the same point again.
really slanderous live stream about me, accusing me of being a Jew.
Slanderous.
Hating neo-Nazi. It's called Professor Dave Goes.
Okay, I don't think I ever accused him of being a neo-Nazi. I'm just pointing out that the rhetoric he's using is neo-Nazi rhetoric. The deception and self-victimization are like the two big tenets of like neo-Nazi criticism. But I don't think he's a neo-Nazi. I think he's a fucking tanky. I don't even think he's a tanky, actually. He's just mind-fucked on Israel-Palestine. Like the entire fucking United States is, I guess, or the world is.
I'm a tanky now. Yes, I'm constantly glazing Stalin, or whatever the fuck tanky even means.
You just said... I'm sorry. Words aren't real, I guess. I don't know.
You really just talk completely out of your
Hey,
ass
look,
at
it's a
all
bot.
times, huh? Anyway, yeah, you said I
Hilarious.
used Nazi rhetoric, which is essentially calling me a Nazi, even though pointing out how Israel lies and plays the victim is just acknowledging reality like a fucking adult. And your thumbnail implied that I hate all Jews, which was kind of the main thing with the Nazis. So you were calling me a Nazi, which is slander, and that is why I decided to expose you as a worthless Zionist piece of shit. You brought this on yourself.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, he literally said, you're not a tanky. And then you went, ha! So you're calling me a tanky. True. This guy's so smart.
Remember that.
Most of what you're hearing about Hamas is fabric.
Stop calling... If you're saying I'm anti-Zionist is anti-Semitic, therefore you're saying I'm a Nazi. True. Thank you, Dave.
Fabricated. And whatever isn't doesn't amount to 0.1% of what Israel has done to Palestine over the past 75 years. Get your priorities straight. They're under a military occupation. The radicalization is Israel's fault. Haha. Minimize non-combatant casualties. Holy fuck, you are naive. Israel routinely does what Hamas did.
They did
I bet
it
you
today.
he's just going to
Who's
show him
talking
reading
about it?
his
Fucking
tweet
nobody.
and no
Pre-planned
point
evil.
being made.
They have a military occupation of Palestine. Just stop being ridiculous. This is October 10th. This guy is fucking unhinged. I don't know how many fucking tweets I've archived here, but holy shit.
Yeah, this is a section where he just
Wow, I
reads old tweets
predicted
of mine that
it!
Canary
He didn't
Mission
let him
captured
make a
in
single
cartoonish,
fucking
angry
point!
voice
Wow!
And doesn't even attempt
It's
to
so
respond to them.
good!
It's really pathetic. Israel does spread propaganda about Hamas. The few hundred people they killed on October 7th don't even remotely hold a candle to the tens of thousands Israel slaughtered prior or the hundreds of thousands since. And they are indeed the product of an extended brutal military occupation, which has specifically been funded and supported by Netanyahu since their inception. People who are...
That is not true. That is called malinformation. They weren't funded. They weren't like necessarily funded. It was like they were treated like they were like a useful like fucking tool, right? When they received funding. But then after they had their elections and everything, Israel didn't keep funding them this entire fucking time or some shit. That's a retarded take.
Brutally oppressed and subjugated for decades become radicalized against their oppressors. It's not that weird. Then for the next one, it's obviously me pushing back on...
This is what is his point? That Hamas are funded by Israel? I thought he doesn't like people getting funded by Israel.
Some paid Hasbara operative lying to the whole internet about how Israel does everything it can to minimize civilian casualties, when in fact Israel specifically targets civilians at all times. This was during the first blatant carpet bombing campaign early in the genocide, when they were just destroying entire city blocks with zero regard for who they killed, because I already knew back then that this was what they had in mind, which is easily confirmed by looking at the sea of rubble that is Gaza today. Glad to see the destiny...
Hang on one second. This isn't Gaza. This is Chicago.
Easily confirmed by
after a
looking at
gang
the
shooting.
sea of rubble that is Gaza today. Glad to see that Destiny has intelligent responses to these obvious facts and isn't just humiliating himself with empty pageantry. But as long as we're looking at old tweets, since he seems to think that mine are so unhinged and indefensible, maybe we should play a quick round of Defend That Tweet, don't you think? I just defended these two quite easily, now it's Destiny's turn. Okay, so this user named Baby Girl said to Steven, ignoring a safe word and not stopping when someone asks is ignoring consent and is rape. Go fuck yourself. Wow, it sounds like Destiny was implying that if you're having sex with someone and they ask you to stop, you totally don't have to.
Wasn't this campaign started by Israel announcing people to leave certain areas and people calling it ethnic cleansing for them saying that that's where they will attack? Yeah, pretty much. If it's all rubble, I'm sure that means it was all bombed at the same time with no time to flee. True. I like how, as well, Israel gets all of the criticism, but nobody's criticizing Egypt for not allowing refugees to leave. You know, nobody criticizes Egypt for that, right?
And it's not rape to continue fucking them while they scream no repeatedly. That's pretty messed up, but hang on, maybe she misunderstood him. I bet he's gonna reply and clear everything up. Kill yourself, you fucking cunt. I hope you get raped with a fucking shovel until you bleed out your fucking vag and die holy. Wow, Steven, that's pretty graphic and uncalled for. But since I had a chance to explain my tweets that you mocked without actually saying anything, it's only fair that we give you the same chance. So, Steven, defend that tweet!
Was based.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steven, that's not gonna cut it. I guess your tweet is just totally fucking indefensible, and you're a disgusting monster with zero regard for female bodily autonomy, huh? I guess combing through old tweets of mine wasn't such a great idea, now was it? Let's get—
Wait. Did he think the picture was going to start talking or something? Like, what was the point?
Get back to the video, big guy.
A fabrication of 40 beheaded babies, which Joe Biden himself publicly claimed to have seen photographs.
He said he saw photographs of beheaded babies. He shouldn't have said this. I don't know where. He might have actually seen it, though. But this claim was not originated by Israel. It was I think it was a, somebody said Channel 4? Is that a French outlet that fucked up and spread this claim? But
maybe he saw them? No, he didn't, because it doesn't exist.
No, Steven's going to see those tweets and he's going to be like, haha, based. Literally, that's all he's going to say.
You're simultaneously admitting that this
That's
wasn't
literally
true,
what he's going to say.
and then speculating as to whether Biden actually saw it? What? Biden said it because Bibi asked him to. It's clear as fucking day. Destiny—
How do you know that? Eventually, Dave's equivalent of pedal troll will be found. Dave should head over to Redactive. True.
Is pretending that some French news network made up this claim. It was being pushed by every single Israeli official and Hasbara influencer on the fucking internet. The IOF...
Yes, a lot of people were spreading it because that's what happens when a news organization puts out a statement. They tend to get trusted. Yeah. You know what? The fuck? You know what? I believe it. I reckon it did happen.
Conjured it out of thin air. It spread to journalists.
I bet Hamas beheaded 40 Palestinian babies.
It was confirmed by an Israeli spokesperson and then echoed by the fucking president of the United States. The president told Americans he saw pictures of 40 beheaded babies because Bibi told him to say it to help manufacture consent for genocide. This is not a little oopsie.
Manufactured consent.
Anti-Arab sentiment to greenlight.
That's just like the book. You know the book from George Orwell, Manufacturing Consent? 1984. I love how he says Hasbara like some scary word when it literally means explaining in Hebrew. Yeah, well, guess what? You're not considering the fact that Jewish people are scary.
The slaughtering of Palestinians. Later, he admitted he didn't actually see it since nobody was going to let that shit slide, but the damage of the initial claim had been done. This is how propaganda works. Anyone diminishing this should not be taken seriously ever.
Endless claims of rape when in fact it is Israel that systematically rapes Palestinian prisoners in the most brutal manner imaginable.
People don't talk about it much because nobody pushes these people because nobody actually cares. Also, I don't know why they say, I know why. It's not 75 years of occupation. It would be like 60 years, but whatever. People say that, fuck, I just mind fucked myself. Oh, they don't believe that any rapes happened on October 7th. Or if they did, it was like one or two bad apples. All of them are consistent on this position. There's never really pushed on it much.
What? I just brought up Israel's track record of persistent systematic sexual abuse as a method of torture. He made no comment on that, said that many people pushed back on the allegations of rape on October 7th, and then neither refuted that position nor condemned Israel's obsession with raping people. What a farce.
A behind-the-scenes clip of a Lebanese short...
You notice how he didn't answer whether or not rapes happened on October 7th? Based.
Film used to claim that Palestinians were faking the war crimes against them, yielding the birth of the disgusting term Pallywood. Claims of immense networks of Hamas bases underneath hospitals to justify the bombing of every single hospital in Gaza, only to provide zero evidence of such bases after the fact, except a few planted guns.
Everybody acknowledges this. Even
yes, this
Amnesty
is
International,
not
everybody
even
acknowledges that these are bases that are used or co-opted. Like Amnesty International in 2014 did big reports on Al Shifa Hospital, for instance, being used by Hamas for torturing people. And
see how he's giving examples?
It's a base of operations, and there's like tunnels underneath. It was a huge blow to UNRWA's credibility when they discovered another big like underground thing that was right next to like the entrance of the hospital, or in such a way that they obviously knew they were operating there. But
everybody acknowledges this? That's funny because no, they fucking don't, especially Amnesty International, who said the precise opposite of what you just claimed. You blew right past the ridiculous CGI video I showed of an incredibly elaborate system of tunnels and rooms filled with weapons and whatnot, as well as Israel's pathetic attempt to substantiate
I don't even know what to say. This is insane.
Upon raiding Al Shifa, they could have filmed their entry live on body cams and shown everyone this elaborate terrorist base. No, instead they delayed for the better part of a day, and when they finally showed everyone what was inside, it was just a few guns they planted next to an MRI machine and a list of terrorists that was really a calendar. That's all. They released a video showing a tunnel and two...
Everyone acknowledges that climate change is real. That's funny because they fucking don't. True.
Small rooms, which could have been fucking
Coriander.
anything. Zero evidence of terrorist activity. Amnesty International, along with anyone else possessing a fully functional brain, specifically said that they have seen no credible evidence to...
Alright, cool. Am I gonna Google this and immediately disprove it? Cool. New York Times. Oh, cool. Whatever. I just give up on that. Anyway, yeah. Al Shifa Hospital. Yeah, they're already. It exists. I don't know. Kind of boring, but whatever. This is the wrong video. Based.
Support the claim that Al-Shifa housed a military command center. The New York Times said the same, despite often shilling for Israel. Lies are all you have, Stephen. Several hours
Wikipedia will hide it in some footnotes. Also, weapons and several other means was discovered according to Israeli sources. True, but you can't trust Israeli sources because they're Jewish.
after entering, and a list of
Did you know that Israel is secretly controlled by the Jews?
terrorists that was really a calendar. A tidal wave of
Nobody
lies in the
talks
form of
about
social
this.
media activity that was viewed by many millions of people. Endless dehumanizing rhetoric to garner
People say this. Where the fuck was the
People
mountain
say
of
this.
Israeli propaganda after October 7th? It was exclusively pally slop. You can tell this too because these people, by the way, today, people like Professor Dave or Hassan will still tell you that big hospital bombing on like the 13th or whatever, that was an Israeli JDAM that hit a hospital and killed 500 people. It was like a Palestinian Islamic Jihad like rocket misfire that maybe I think like hurt like 30 or 40 people or whatever. Like it was not a fucking missile.
What the fuck are you rambling about? Israel has bombed every single hospital.
Doesn't respond to the claim.
In Gaza. 90% are completely non-operational. Just a couple are operating with highly limited capacity. This moron is whining about who bombed one of the hospitals as if to say that Israel doesn't bomb.
Yes, I've seen the footage, Danny. I'm well aware. Like, I know, this guy is just deliberately being a piece of shit.
Bomb hospitals. They've bombed every single hospital in Gaza. Every single one. They also specifically targeted and slaughtered doctors. Pally slop my ass.
You know, horrible, vile anti-Semites like Miss Rachel, the children's content creator who scandalously requested on social media that Israel stop bombing children and who can be found singing songs with Palestinian double amputee toddlers. How dare she humanize children who have had their legs children and who can be found singing songs with Palestinian double amputee toddlers. How dare she humanize children who have had their legs blown off by inhuman monsters. As part of these smear attempts, founder of Stop Anti-Semitism, Leora Rez, and other wastes of human life.
I'm explaining how Ms. Rachel qualified as Anti-Semite of the Week for requesting that Israel stop bombing children and singing songs with Palestinian double amputee toddlers. His response is to smile like a creep and...
Okay. Has Dave, I'm speaking directly to him because I know he's in the chat. You know, he's one of the 30 people watching. Has it occurred to you that he was like laughing and saying Jesus, dude? Because you said that they were, what were the words he used again? Like something about like bloodthirsty animals or
their legs
something?
children, and who can be found singing songs with Palestinian double amputee toddlers. How dare she humanize children who have had their legs blown off by inhuman monsters.
Inhuman monsters.
As part of these smear attempts, founder of Stop Anti-Semitism,
Hey, Chris. Hello.
Leora Rez,
We're
and
having
other wastes
fun.
of human life.
I'm explaining how Ms. Rachel qualified as Anti-Semite of the Week for requesting that Israel stop bombing children and singing songs with Palestinian double amputee toddlers. His response is to smile like a creep and mutter dude under his breath or whatever the
It
fuck
is
he said.
indeed fun.
This is the whole video.
We're going to talk a lot about how awful Israel is. Truly, they are the most potent force of pure evil in the world since the Nazi.
Jesus Christ.
The most
The
potent
less that
force
Destiny has
of
to
pure
say, the
evil
higher
in the
pitch he
world.
goes. Yes, the Nazis exterminated Jews, and Zionists exterminate Palestinians. The disregard for human life is identical. Shouting Jesus Christ sarcastically is not a refutation of this obvious fact.
A lot of these things are like half-truths or like crazy people that are interviewing. I think that Yoav Gallant thing, I think I've looked that up before. I think he was explicitly referring to Hamas when they were going into fight there. This was said like, I think within a week or two, I think after the war began, because I think that quote made it into the South African case that they brought against Israel for the genocide prevention stuff. And I feel like I looked into the source of that quote, and I think a few of them that they'll...
Yeah, true. Not anti-Semitic at all, but also they are the most evil human beings on the planet. You know, Russia and all the horrible shit that they've done to Ukraine, the Sudan fucking genocide, right? All of that stuff, nothing compared to what Israel did. That wasn't a sarcastic Jesus Christ. It was a yeah, exactly. Like, it's just
they're
insane.
talking about all Palestinians, but they're referring to Hamas.
Nope, they're talking about Palestinians, always.
True. All right, let's see what they said. We will turn Gaza into an island of ruins. All right, that's Benjamin Netanyahu. He's a piece of shit, so who cares? I don't know any of these guys, but they're probably all based. So yeah, you're wrong.
Shows
I'm just talking shit. Let's see. We are dropping hundreds of tons of bombs on Gaza. The focus is on destruction, not accuracy. He's an army spokesman. And when was this? This is October 10th. I think this is just after the war. There's going to be a lot of like insane shit being said. No date on this. Wipe out their families, their mother. Okay, I don't even understand. Like, October 13th. What is this one? I don't care about Gaza. I literally don't care about Gaza. They can go swimming in the sea. Cool. It is an entire nation who are responsible. This rhetoric about civilians supposedly not being involved is absolutely untrue, and we will fight back until we break their backs. Based. He didn't say he was going to kill them. He just said he was going to break their backs. So that one doesn't count. Doomsday weapon. That's my opinion. Powerful. Without mercy. There will be no food. Oh, no electricity. No food. Oh, no food shops. No fuel. Everything is closed. We are fighting animal people and we are acting accordingly. This is October 9th, 2 days after the worst, like probably the worst terrorist attack since fucking 9/11. And they're wondering why they're being extremely unhinged. Like, I don't know, man. People do be saying shit when, 1,000 people are murdered. I don't know what to tell you.
Many clips and statements.
I love how it isn't the worst starvation and humanitarian disaster in the last 5 years, yet they are the most potent evil creatures. True. Where is this outrage for the Houthis? You know why they're the most evil? Because scary Jewish people. That's why.
Where genocidal intent towards all Palestinians is explicitly expressed. Nuh-uh is not an argument.
Nah, get wrecked. I made the same argument.
Pretty fucked up, huh? A chuckle and a grin is your response to Israeli Karens chanting about wanting to burn villages down while jazzercising or whatever the fuck this is. Great.
Should I show the footage of like that woman being dragged through Gaza and members of the public like in Gaza walking up and spitting on her fucking body? On her mangled corpse? Like, what is this? Yeah, what do you want me to say? It's bad. Like, it's war, bro. I don't know what to tell you. People don't like each other. Not just the Houthis. More people lives were destroyed in Ukraine in the last 6 months than 100 years in Israel. Yes, but that's Ukraine and Russia. That is not Jews and other people. So...
contribution.
A lawmaker from the far
not
right
evil.
Otzma
Don't know what to tell you, buddy.
Party told the Knesset on Wednesday that there are no innocent civilians, no innocent children in Jenin, I think they might call this. Okay, so this is a fairly unhinged quote, but like this is like a this
He's gonna make the same
is
cake?
known as a place that you shouldn't go because you'll probably get fucking killed. Like even our Palestinian tour guide that was willing to take us to Nablus wouldn't take us to Jenin. That's like. I'm not saying that that's that it's an acceptable quote.
Oh, silly me,
but,
my bad. True.
That's like I think I see it as like one of the most.
It is your
like,
bad. Get wrecked.
You're gonna get fucking rocked if you go to this place.
Right. It's bad to say that children aren't innocent, but this is a super bad place, so it's okay.
Yeah, but you also excused them for being radicalized and violent.
Okay to say it about that place. Murdering children in that specific town is therefore more defensible. Are you listening?
He's not saying that. Did he say that?
Saying that that's that it's an acceptable quote, but that's like I think I see it as like one of the most like you're gonna get fucking rocked if you go to this place.
Right. It's bad to say that children aren't innocent, but this is a super bad place, so it's okay to say it about that place. Murdering children in that specific town is therefore more defensible. Are you listening to this?
Is that what he said? I'm sorry, what? Did he say that children should be killed, or did he say there are no innocent children as well? Yeah, he's saying it's an unhinged quote, but also that town is really crazy, so people shouldn't go there.
One of the most like you're gonna get fucking rocked if you go to this place.
Right. It's bad to say that children aren't innocent, but this is a super bad place, so it's okay to say it about that place. Murdering children in that specific town is therefore more defensible. Are you listening to this douchebag?
Revital Gottlieb of the Likud party says, bring down buildings, bomb without distinction, stop with this impotence.
Like, I would never defend
Hey, man.
the crazy
If a toddler has an AK-47 and they're trying to shoot me, I have the right to defend myself, so that would be an okay situation for me to kill a child. Get wrecked, noob.
There are some fucking insane Israelis, like there are, but you can find them saying insane stuff all the time. It's really weird to come down on somebody saying insane shit like on October 7th, though.
True.
It doesn't matter what the date is. Genocidal intent is genocidal intent, and you are indeed defending it.
Are you gonna use the same standard for like Hamas? Like what a retarded fucking take. Okay, cool. Hamas have
And
genocidal
they say
intent.
this shit all the time. Before October 7th and after it too. Countless such statements in this video that you blow right past without acknowledging.
Destiny, why don't you just debate Dave? Dave will never talk to me on this subject. The pro-pallies have to remain as isolated as possible on this topic because they know nothing about the region, they know nothing about the history, and they have no prescriptions of what to do in this place.
No, I won't talk to you about this because you're a worthless genocide-denying propaganda peddler who will just motormouth a meth-fueled gish-galloped avalanche of lies and unrelated minutia to deflect from the very obvious genocide you deny. There's no...
You know what? I couldn't tell he was lying until he put bullshit lies like fucking 20 times on the fucking screen with a picture of Destiny. Now I know he's lying to me. I know I could have fell for his lies, but luckily Dave put bullshit lies on the screen, so I was able to protect myself. My biggest gripe about all this talk is how Dave just takes normal war and conflict things that happened. It's hot. What? Oh, the drink. Thank you. Okay. Just happened everywhere and making it as they are the worst in history. Oh my god, I cannot read today. I'm very sorry. Okay. Hey, you want to see a magic trick? Or just Benji, place. Enjoy. Would have helped if that was in a speech bubble emerging from Destiny's mouth. I could misunderstand. Yeah, what if he's using telekinesis? I would never know. Like, he works for Mossad. Like, he might have, psychic powers.
Point. I know plenty about the region and its history. That's how I know about the decades of occupation and apartheid that this genocide is a continuation of. That's how I knew on October 7th that it was the beginning of ethnic cleansing and
decades of genocide.
Land acquisition, not a war against terrorists.
Israel killed billions of people. Blanket. People are not saying it's not a genocide because they haven't stated it. It's because it doesn't meet the requirements for intent. Thank you. Just because someone, just because a war has civilian casualties does not imply that it's like a genocide, right? You wouldn't call World War II a genocide, right? Well, I mean, unless you're German. Haha. Anyway, yeah. And that's the problem, right? They're stretching terms. They did the same thing with occupation, right? The other day, how do you prove intent? Usually by the things that they say, the policies that they implement. I imagine letting food into Gaza and doing roof knocks before you attack an apartment building, like an hour or two in advance to make it so that people can evacuate, kind of shows that you do not intend to wipe out and eradicate people, right? There are things that Israel have done that would definitely constitute war crimes, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that one bad thing means all of the bad things, right? I think it's completely acceptable to say that they committed war crimes. I think it's perfectly fine to say that they are violating human rights. It just doesn't meet the requirement for genocide, right? That's all. And that's not a crazy take. It's Pretty normal.
That's why I was booted from Twitter. And sorry, no prescription? You mean like I don't know what should be done in the region? Just like all his idiot trolls shout at anyone who exposes Israel's genocide? Of course I do. Everyone with a brain and a conscience knows. Dismantle the state of Israel. Remove all Zionists from any position of power. Call the region Palestine, and everyone there can live under a new governing body with equal rights. End apartheid. End occupation. It's not that fucking hard to wrap your head around. Too bad having a
Based.
do. Everyone with a brain and a conscience knows. Dismantle the state of Israel. Remove all Zionists from any position of power. Call the region Palestine, and everyone there can live under a new governing body with equal rights. End apartheid. End occupation. It's not that fucking hard to wrap your head around. Too bad having a brain and a conscience doesn't come along with the political power to do anything about it, right, dumbass?
Israeli politician Moshe Feiglin states outright that Hamas is...
I would be in favor of that, as long as all of the leftists have to live there and they have to wear a golden Star of David on them so that Hamas know exactly who to target. Okay? We'll do that. And, you know, put your money where your mouth is. Go on.
Is not the enemy. It's every child in Gaza. Every child. Toddlers. Babies. Babies are terrorists. Anyone who would say this is a sadistic monster.
Who said that? Who says that? Who's the famous baby settler guy?
Who's the famous baby settler guy? I'm showing bloody children, which are the reason my video was demonetized, despite his idiot troll army insisting I was lying about that, along with statement after statement demonstrating genocidal intent towards all Palestinians, including children, and his response is to bring up some random thing that Hassan Piker said once that his camp will forever quote out of context to demonize him.
In what fucking context do you need for the term settler baby when like the context of the conversation was about people killing children? Like, what the fuck are you on about?
This douchebag seriously. He is deflecting from Israel, explicitly stating that they want to murder.
True. Every criticism of your position is deflection.
Murder children.
How hard would it be to just say, you know what, Hassan saying that is bad. He shouldn't have said that, and also Israel doing that is bad. Like, it's not that fucking hard, dude.
And images of injured children as a stand-in for videos of murdered children I couldn't show without risking my entire channel being deactivated. Again, archivegenocide.com exists for anyone with the courage to see for themselves what's been going on in Gaza. Children are being murdered, and Destiny's response is to lie about Hassan Piker. Astounding.
They openly announce that they intend to commit genocide, not just random nut jobs on social media. Israeli officials, legislators, military personnel, decision makers, they all...
Is this a research stream? Nah, I haven't watched it yet, so I figured I would check it out.
State this openly, the desire to completely wipe out the...
This is not informational at all. This is just like... This is slop.
Palestinian population. Take a second and read this crap. This is a drop in the bucket. You listen to any of these assholes for long enough, you get some shit like this about human animals, or Amalek, who their God commanded them to destroy in the Torah.
Stevie, I was telling you, specifically, to pause and read those statements. That's the very clear genocidal intent you're pretending was limited to October 7th and excusing like a lunatic.
What do you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. It was 2 days after. It was 3 days after. It was 6 days after October 7th. You know that I read a few days ago that 70% of dead children were 14 and above? Listen, Israel is currently killing 27-year-old children, and someone needs to stop them. Think of all of those 30-year-old babies that are being genocided.
This is me proving you wrong. Wrong. You're watching it and saying nothing because you have nothing to say, because you know it's genocide.
They proudly announce genocidal intent and then later deny the actualization of that intent when accused of the genocide they are committing, gaslighting the world with rhetoric about how the IOF is the most moral army in the world, rather than the reality.
Gaslight the world. True.
That they are actual terrorists.
Yes, I explained how Israel gaslights everyone, and his response is to sarcastically repeat what I said. And this dumbass wants to debate people?
Do you like Palestinian children?
Yes.
Does it make you feel good when you
Oh my god, he likes the Palestinian children.
hospital? Really?
Yes.
You guys children.
What are these videos?
What are these videos? These are videos of Israeli soldiers admitting to murdering children. You're laughing like a lunatic and saying nothing. Do you condemn Israeli soldiers deliberately murdering children? This would be a good time to go on the record stating that you condemn Israeli soldiers deliberately murdering children. No? Just gonna breeze right past that? Got it.
How many Palestinians have you killed?
20?
Uh-huh.
Based.
Is this like real life?
I don't know what is
Do you think that maybe he's just kind of trolling because you're sitting on here going, how many babies have you murdered with your bare hands?
Palestinians. I know Hamas. In Gaza there is not civilians.
In Gaza,
All Hamas. Terrorists.
in Gaza, there's no civilians. They're all Hamas. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Okay.
In
So the
Gaza.
1 million kids in Gaza, they're Hamas.
Yeah.
What kind?
Oh god, and he's got this fucking lunatic on, of course.
Hello.
Hello, you.
I can't believe how much you guys included laundered this fucking lunatic's reputation here. Oh.
Yeah, Destiny couldn't believe that the videos I showed were real, so he went to look for more on his own. He found one where a soldier explicitly states that all 1 million children in Gaza are terrorists, and therefore are fair game to be killed. Instead of condemning that, his response is to switch to another video and whine about how much he hates Bassem Youssef, since he speaks out against genocide. Steven, you really should have watched my video in advance and planned out what to say, because this is really exposing you quite badly.
Countless children in Gaza have been targeted and executed by snipers. There are so many accounts from both local and international doctors who received child after child with a single precise bullet wound to the head. Again, soldiers state outright that they intentionally murder children and that they're specifically ordered to do it, while officials continue to put on a show and act offended when it is suggested that soldiers do the things they openly admit they are doing. This is the definition of gaslighting. And how do Israeli soldiers and officials justify this grotesque behavior? Naturally, they have divine permission for it. They state this openly all the time as well. They are the chosen people, so they can do whatever they want. They say Israel is allowed to ignore the directives of international...
Not anti-Semitism, by the way. Not tying war crimes with Judaism, by the way.
national law in any field it desires.
Yes, I explained how Israeli snipers shoot children in the head. No response from him. Then I pivot into the chosen people rhetoric that they use to justify committing genocide.
Wait, I have a question. First of all, this is from 2018, so based. Second, did those snipers do a 360 before shooting those kids?
That got a chuckle out
Based?
of him and nothing more.
I'm joking.
Since this specifically dismantles any attempt at demonizing people for pointing out the chosen people rhetoric that they objectively do use.
What would it take to change your opinion on this? I don't know. It's difficult to engage with questions that are that fucking retarded. For the people that are saying unhinged, insane shit in Israel, these are bad statements.
Snipers don't shoot in the head. You aim at central mass. Yeah, well, maybe. I just spat on my fucking mic. Oh my god, that's disgusting. Anyway, maybe the Israeli snipers are just that fucking good. Have you considered that? Maybe they're so good, they can shoot a child in the head from a kilometer away. Have you
They're
considered
horrible.
that?
But it's even worse when you just show one side and you pretend like it's only one-sided. You're disqualified from the conversation. You shouldn't even have an opinion on it. You're fucking retarded.
It is one-sided, you dumb piece of shit. Israel and Palestine aren't genociding each other. Israel is committing genocide, and Palestinians are the victims of genocide. One is a belligerent nuclear superpower carpet bombing and starving an entire region. The other is the helpless prisoner population that is the victim of that activity. It is entirely one-sided, and anyone who pretends otherwise is a fucking moron. The worst pro-Israel propaganda attempts to paint all Arabs as terrorists that need to be obliterated, but the far more damaging propaganda is that of the liberal Zionist that attempts to paint the conflict like a pair of quarreling siblings, and if only they could just put down their weapons and get along. That's way more damaging because it whitewashes genocide, and some people fall for it, which prevents a unified opposition to Israel. That's Destiny's bag.
They fell for precisely the same dehumanizing rhetoric that led to the Holocaust. If you support Israel, you are a Nazi. There is no meaningful distinction between support for Israel today and support for Nazi Germany in the 1930s and 40s. Given the age we live in, the horror show that...
Really?
Yes, really.
Well, I'm going to show you to the best of my extremely limited ability what is happening. This video almost certainly will not be monetized. I'm fully aware of that and I don't care. But I can't show you the true extent of the carnage, as that would violate YouTube's community guidelines, and my channel could get deactivated from a single violation of the place, and this boring out of their app haunts me every time I look. The countless bodies dirt bulldozed on top of them.
Did you see that? I didn't chop that up. That was Destiny deliberately skipping ahead through the section that I knew would demonetize my video. The part where I showed all the bloody crying children. He can't bear to look at it, and he can't risk his audience seeing it, because this is the easiest way to know who is the villain here. The only way he can continue shilling for Israel is by convincing himself that none of this is
this is like a Marvel movie for him. Yeah, I mean, the guy clearly loves watching videos of children being killed and is gooning to it, so...
real. These children
kind of
aren't
gross.
real. So when
Not
I
gonna
show
lie.
them to him...
I don't mean to kink shame, but this guy kind of gross. He got him. He didn't want to be reported. True.
bear to look at it, and he can't risk his audience seeing it, because this is the easiest way to know who is the villain here. The only way he can continue shilling for Israel is by convincing himself that none of this is real. These children aren't real. So when I show them to him, he gets really uncomfortable. So uncomfortable that he has to make it stop by skipping ahead. This is how we know he's defending an indefensible position, either for money or personal reasons. The complete lack of empathy. There is no chiming in to say, yeah, that's fucked up. Holy shit, look at these poor children with their limbs blown off, starving to death. Hey, let's check out this archive so we can educate ourselves about Israel's atrocities. Nothing, because it can't be real. He can't give more than an inch or two because he is maintaining an indefensible position that genocide isn't happening.
And that brings us to the main point of this video. Dickheads like Destiny deny the fact that Israel is committing genocide. This is beyond comprehension. Any honest person with the courage to look can instantly see what has been going on in Gaza for nearly 3 years now.
So courageous to join literally the most popular political movement on time or online in the history of all the fucking world, which is Israel bad, Jew bad, and Palestine innocent and need to be protected, and get rid of AIPAC. What a brave position that is. Oh my goodness.
I said the courage to look, Stephen, the courage to look at the victims of genocide. And just 30 seconds ago, you demonstrated that you don't have the courage to look. You skipped ahead while I showed you the victims of genocide.
Because he's streaming. He doesn't want to get demonetized. He doesn't want to get reported for showing graphic content. I don't know why this is complicated for you, but all right.
Aside, because you're a spineless little bitch, and you know it. So you make no attempt to acknowledge the genocide I reminded you that you're denying, and you immediately reframe advocacy for the victims of genocide as some woke internet trend, which entails hating all Jews. Even though no, it fucking doesn't, since a huge fraction of Jews are anti-Zionist activists. How shameful. I'm so glad you've given me this opportunity to show even more people what a worthless piece of shit you are.
And it's not even a question of what are the facts. It's a question of like, the most annoying thing too is it's a question of like, would you consider it a genocide? It's hard to imagine.
You have no courage to look at the gore pics I'm showing. Look at the gore. True. Look at the dead babies.
It's hard to imagine like a genocide where if
just
one
take a
side
little
surrenders,
peek at the dead
everything
baby.
stops. Like, that's kind of hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine a genocide where the side being genocided, like, actively is continuing to hold hostages against the other side and refuses to release them for some reason.
Oh, of course. The Palestinians should have surrendered. All the tens of thousands of children who have been slaughtered should have waved a little white flag, and then they wouldn't have been buried under rubble as Israel destroys Gaza to make room for luxury high-rises.
Do you think he's talking about the kids, or do you think he's talking about Hamas that are holding the hostages?
If only Palestinians would stop all of the literally zero killing of Israelis after October 7th, while Israel slaughtered dozens or even hundreds per day. And why did they have those hostages? Gee, were they being used to bargain for the release of Palestinian prisoners that are perpetually held by the thousands without cause? Do you have any issue with Israel holding thousands of people prisoner for no reason, including children, while raping and torturing them? Or is it just when Israelis are held hostage and treated like fucking royalty?
Just to clarify,
prisoners that are perpetually Israel slaughtered dozens or even hundreds per day. And why did they have those hostages? Only buried under rubble
I need to
as
fact
Israel
check this
destroys
part.
Gaza to make room for luxury high-rises. If only Palestinians would stop all of the literally zero killing of Israelis after October 7th.
Hamas killed hostages after October 7th. So, good one.
While Israel slaughtered dozens or even hundreds per day. And why did they have those hostages? Gee, were they being used to bargain for the release of Palestinian prisoners that are perpetually held by the thousands without cause? Do you have any issue with Israel
Convicted terrorist, by the way.
holding thousands of people prisoner for no reason, including children, while raping and torturing them? Or is it just when Israelis are held hostage and treated like fucking royalty as their own government carpet bombs and kills them since they have no regard for the lives of
Hey, listen. Two wrongs make a right here.
their citizens? What a fucking moron.
The most difficult question that these people have that I've never heard a good answer to, and there's a lot of them that you can ask. Is like,
Maybe
what's the
Israel
difference between
should just start
like
taking
a bad one-sided
Palestinians
war,
hostage.
or just like a really violent war and a genocide. Like I don't know what the difference is. And I've never heard them actually enunciate a difference there. What is the difference between like a bad war, a one-sided war, versus like a genocide?
A war would be when two militaries fight and kill each other. So a one-sided war would be one military killing way more soldiers than the other. A genocide would be when a nuclear superpower carpet bombs a prisoner population with the specific intent to murder civilians and demolish all of the infrastructure in the region, and then starves the rest of them while they're huddled, trembling in refugee camps. All set, champ?
If the mindset is like all these fuck-ups are intentional and they're just trying to murder as many civilians, not as they can, but as many as they can get away with, even though they're clearly not getting away with it, but I don't know why they won't murder more or whatever. Like it's kind of it's a conversation non-starter. Like how do you make peace with a group of people that you
Prison population. True. I love prison populations.
think is literally trying
They're
to
my
genocide
favorite.
the other side? Like it's stupid as fuck. You can't like, and then these same guys who will say, well, 90% of Israel is
True.
on board with this, and all of them are brainwashed to want to genocide the other side, and we can't even accept a two-state solution anymore because that's apartheid. So we're going to do a one-state solution. But somehow all of these people are going to live in peace with each other. What the fuck? I don't know.
Oh, you're right. If we force Israel to stop doing genocide and we dissolve the state of Israel, then they're all going to fight and bicker a lot. So we should just let Israel continue to do genocide and take over.
How are you going to dissolve the state of Israel? You know, there was a saying that I was told the other day, don't let facts get in the way of your opinion.
Over the entire Middle East. Great thinking, dumbass. I have an idea. How about if America steps up and acts like the shining beacon of democracy it has always pretended to be, forcibly dismantles Israel, and then stations a bunch of troops there to ensure that former
based,
Israelis
indeed.
don't continue to murder Palestinians, even though they're not allowed to anymore. Don't worry, Stephen. They'll prevent all the violence in the other direction that was never going to happen as well.
Human Rights Watch cited starvation as a weapon of war and the creation of conditions calculated to bring about the physical destruction of the Palestinian population. Doctors Without Borders cited the testimonies of doctors reporting that they routinely received children who have been shot in the head or chest by snipers, as we mentioned. UNICEF reported that essentially all of the million or so children remaining in Gaza need mental health and psychosocial support due to immeasurable trauma, especially the thousands who have lost limbs, usually amputated without anesthetic, and those who have lost their entire families. The International Association of Genocide Scholars stated that the legal definition is cleanly met, citing war crimes and crimes against humanity.
Oh my god, why do they just do this over and over again? They just repeat the same shit over and over again and then they don't respond to any of the criticisms. It's so fucking boring. I'm gonna do this because it triggers me a lot, even though everyone here probably already knows this. So the problem with the International Association of Genocide Scholars is that, yes, 86% of them agreed on this, but only 28% of the total organization participated in the vote. That was the big problem. And no one ever engages with this, and that's why I get kind of really annoyed. This is the problem, right? It's like we're being told to just accept all of these like little inconsistencies, and when we point it out, no one engages with it. They just ignore it, and they go, no, 86% of them said that this happened, so this organization said this. And it's just like, fuck, dude.
Wish Voice for Peace, Amnesty and...
Wait, now military occupation by a foreign empire is woke now? We want USA to take over a territory in the Middle East. Yes, we do. It's called Iran. Based.
International, even several Israeli organizations. It's a long list of organizations, and the list of criteria that qualify this as genocide is...
You can tell what I shared was real because it was by Jarvis.
Never ending. 90% of Gazans displaced. Absolutely all farmland unusable. Continuous blocking of humanitarian aid. Starvation and life-threatening malnutrition. Mass executions of healthcare and rescue workers. Israel is a club of genocide overachievers. If you deny the fact that Israel is committing genocide, you are no different from a club...
What should you do as a casual viewer to not follow propaganda like this? For the Jew shit, honestly, this was like you had to read all the original sourcing on everything because everybody gets fucking mind-fucked when it comes to Israel.
Everybody gets mind-fucked when it comes to Israel.
You are mind-fucked and brain-broken.
When cornered, he always resorts to his little catchphrases. He just watched me cite organization after organization, which
You just cited Wikipedia after Wikipedia.
Unanimously label this a genocide and list the reasons why it is objectively genocide. He makes no attempt to engage with any of it and instead pauses to respond to an idiot viewer who asks, "How do I not fall for this list of undeniable facts, I mean propaganda?" To which he spews some bullshit about reading original sources. What original sources? Sources for what? I showed you what human rights organizations say. If you don't like their conclusions, fucking address them, dickbag. This is like...
He has, but you're not going to show any of those things, are you?
When James Tour tries to discredit a paper he doesn't like by whining about how you have to look in the supplemental data so that he can lie about what the supplemental data says to pretend he can discard the whole paper. Pathetic.
But more importantly, there objectively is no precision whatsoever to the destruction in Gaza. More than 78% of Gazan infrastructure has been demolished by relentless carpet bombing.
I think that number that he's referring to, I think, was in like the first year of the war. It's like 78% has some damage, not necessarily like completely destroyed or whatever, but I don't know what their number stands on now.
Basic logic would say that it's much higher now then, right, dumbass? Unless you think that Gazans are actually undergoing construction projects while they're being bombed and starved to death.
Can you show that they aren't doing that? Too many people can't grasp the definitions of etymology and etymology of basic terms. I love reading. I'm so good at reading. True.
Gaza,
especially streamers,
is an unlivable hellhole. Everyone is living in tents and
streamers with 20 viewers, especially those ones.
barely surviving. That's genocide.
What is it about the Israel-Palestine conflict that breaks the minds of people? It's just it's got enough for everybody to have like a strong opinion about it. Oppressor, oppressee, Western world versus non-Western world, Jew versus Arab, brown versus white, imperialism, colonialism, America.
So that they use it in bad faith. The whole point, yes, they absolutely do.
Occupier. There's like every possible thing that...
Just to clarify, I'm not the biggest Israel fan, right? Like, I meme and everything, but I don't give a fuck. Like, if they're committing a genocide, yeah, I'll acknowledge it. But it's like, the problem is that the side that's saying that it's a genocide are acting in such psychotic bad faith that it's impossible to believe anything on it, right? So it's kind of cringe.
Can be represented in Israel-Palestine.
No, dipshit. What breaks people's brains is that it's absolutely unthinkable that any human could be as evil as Israeli officials and soldiers. The shit they do to Palestinians genuinely destroys a person's ability to have faith in humanity. It's specifically Holocaust levels of disdain for human life. That's how evil Israel is. Listing a bunch of categories...
I don't know about that, man. They don't have camps where people are getting diseased and dying and shit like that, right? Okay, whatever. It always has to be comparable to the Holocaust, right? Why not? That's how you know the Holocaust is the GOAT of genocides, right? Because, you know, they ain't going to compare, they're not going to compare it to the Cambodian genocide or anything, right? It's always going to be the Holocaust because that's the GOAT one.
Isn't an argument. Yes, this genocide represents belligerent Western imperialism destroying indigenous populations, a thing that shouldn't be happening in the 21st century. Holy fuck, your audience is so brainwashed, it's astounding.
You didn't address carpet bombing. Was there actually any? No, there's, but I mean, like, there clearly isn't. Like, you can look at the death numbers. Like, as horrible as it might sound to say, like, if this was indiscriminate bombing, you would have expected to see way more people die.
If they clearly didn't carpet bomb Gaza, then how the fuck is all of Gaza destroyed, you dumb piece of shit?
It's only 69% of Gaza destroyed.
Did they do this themselves? And again, the actual death toll is way higher than the official count because the latter involves only identified bodies. Like I told you, and you skipped right past it, all the bodies that were totally vaporized or are still buried under rubble or were not brought in for identification because an entire bloodline was blown up at the same time, those didn't make it in the official count. That's why the real count is way, way higher.
War is bad, but you don't need to make one side as pure evil and another pure angels. Yes, and I think that's the problem, right? I think Hutch put it best when he said that people were calling it a genocide on October 8th, and, you know, if you want it to be a genocide enough, eventually you're going to throw an election and Donald Trump will get in charge, and it might end up being a genocide eventually. That's why people like Dave actually prolong the war and make the situation impossible. Yes, they do.
Israel destroys entire villages in Lebanon during 3-week ceasefire. I think the most annoying thing about all of the the one-sided coverage is that it really does seem like why does Israel attack all of these people? Like, why are they attacking Gaza? You know, what's going on there? And we never hear about that. Like,
true, and Dave's not going to engage with that point.
Why is Israel trying to attack Lebanon? I guess just to invade.
Because they're bloodthirsty demons.
Land? Like, we never hear about why.
You just answered your own question, dipshit. This is happening because of Western imperialism. There's nothing one-sided here.
They just
is
want
Lebanon
imperialism.
blowing up entire villages in Israel and then keeping that land for themselves? No, Israel is doing that. They're doing it to Gaza, to Lebanon, to Syria, and they'll keep going with Egypt and other regions after that if the world allows it. This is the purpose of Israel. Fucking hell, what a moron.
Israel is the aggressor state, slaughtering anyone they please, and anyone who stands in opposition to that is labeled a terrorist. These groups are the rebellion in Star Wars. Israel is the fucking empire. Do you think Emperor Palpatine would label Luke Skywalker a terrorist? Of course he would. Supporting Israel is like rooting for the fucking Death Star.
True.
You know what? I did like Darth
The analogy
Vader.
is flawless, and all he can do in response is giggle like a toddler because I'm objectively right. Israel is the empire. Right down to their new space laser project he didn't even acknowledge.
Marjorie Taylor Greene was right, bro. They got the space lasers. What the fuck? Ah. Oh my lord.
זה לא מצחיק, יש תוכנית עסקית. תקשיבו לי טוב, יש תוכנית עסקית שנבנתה על ידי אנשים הכי מקצועיים שיש, שנמצאת על השולחן של הנשיא טראמפ. לאיך הדבר הזה הופך לבוננזה של נדל"ן, אני לא צוחק, מחזיר את עצמו. אגב, אני התחלתי משא ומתן עם האמריקאים, ואני אומר את זה לא בצחוק עכשיו, כי אני גם דורש, הרי אנחנו שילמנו המון כסף על המלחמה הזאת. אז אנחנו צריכים להתחלק איך אנחנו עושים אחוזים על שיווקי התחדשות.
Real estate mogul cosplaying as the president of the most powerful nation on earth.
Yep, that was Destiny skipping ahead in the video yet again because he couldn't deal with what I was showing him. Bezalel Smotrich was outright admitting that the entire genocide was just pretense for land acquisition and real estate development, right out of his own fucking mouth. Can't let your viewers see that, right, Stevie?
True.
Skip, skip, skip.
At Destiny, Hamas offered that multiple times. Israel said they weren't going to stop bombing them. It wouldn't have mattered. Then why keep them? Why not just release the hostages? You would 100x your international and even the domestic support. It would be so hard to justify anything like the continue. Why would you always give them that thing to fall back on? The reason why, like, and again, nobody that makes videos like this will ever acknowledge, is because Hamas invites the civilian death. They want as many civilians to die as
Purpose
possible.
of Israel,
they
true,
want as many
is
civilians to die as
to-
possible. It is the goal, so that people like Professor
is to
Dave
build
jerk off all
giant
these
empire
dog
of
shit
Jewish
fucking TikTok
people.
slot videos they make on it.
Sorry, TikTok what? There are no TikTok videos in here, and it wouldn't matter where they came from anyway. You just can't handle what the clips are showing, so you skip ahead like a little bitch. And why did they have hostages? Again, as bargaining chips for the release of Palestinian prisoners. They got some back, just
True. They committed a terrorist attack and killed 1,000 Israelis and then took their women and children hostage so that they could free the innocent Palestinians that were locked up after committing terrorist attacks. This is so true. Yeah.
as intended.
And I don't understand this point of Greater Israel and like how they're trying to build a giant empire. Like, isn't the US just basically Greater Israel, you know, with their Jewish overlords? This is a fucking joke.
And as I pointed out, but you didn't touch, all the hostages that Israel didn't blow up were
With
returned
Fuentes,
a
Maxim.
while ago, and Hamas even relinquished control of Gaza. Yet Israel continues to bomb Gaza. Doesn't fit your narrative, now does it?
קצת לפני שהכל מתחיל. ואיתמר דופק דין ולא קצת פקודה. באמת, אני הייתי כמה שצבא בכירים, מה בעיה ייפגעו? השישיות סך הכל לפנה בית רובר.
Beyond this, hundreds of the civilians.
מרגיש לי תשמעי, אני לא יודע מה היה שם, לא יודע מה היה שם, אני רוצה להבין.
A little coincidental, no? Yes, this is him fast forwarding through the clip where the IOF soldier explains how he was told to cancel a patrol of the border wall region where Hamas would break through.
Right, so he's not showing that because it's a conspiracy theory implying that Israel deliberately allowed like people to be killed. It's an unhinged take.
Right before the time that it happened. This is enormous evidence supporting Israel knowing what was going to happen and allowing it to happen.
This is that's an unhinged thing to say, dude.
Knows this, so he has to get past it as quickly as possible.
They'll say that it was the Hannibal Doctrine, that Israel will kill every single fleeing Hamas person.
Revolution
even if they
will
have
not be
Israeli
told
with
as
them, because they always try to
true.
kill their own people so that they don't get taken hostage or something. Of which there's zero evidence of this happening, or I think of ever happening, but...
A little coincidental, no? Beyond this, hundreds of the civilian casualties were the fault of Israel due to both friendly fire from incompetent teenage pseudo-soldiers as well as the Hannibal Directive, which involved...
True, they're all teenage pseudo-soldiers, but also none of the Hamas militants were under the age of 18. They were all just children. All of the Hamas militants were just babies.
Involves killing their own citizens on purpose to
Always.
prevent their captivity, including a tank firing on a kibbutz.
Right, no evidence of the Hannibal Directive being used. I then show the Israeli defense minister confirming that it was used, and Stevie doesn't engage with it at all or retract his bogus statement.
So
That's
coincidentally enough, I looked into that whole Hannibal Directive thing. So the Hannibal Directive was something that was made involving like the Israeli military, right? And the idea was that you don't allow the combatants to take someone hostage, right? So what would happen is the military would probably be a little bit concerned about opening fire on someone who's taking another person hostage, but I guess Israel has a policy of not allowing that because they don't want, you know, someone gets kidnapped, they get fucking beheaded or something like that in front of cameras and shit, and it's used for propaganda. They probably just like, nah, just try and shoot the militant and save that person, right?
Intellectual integrity for you.
Destiny, you're not even defending against any of his claims. You kind of just pause the video and then say, it's so easy to paint one side, and then just move on without addressing anything. None of these claims are like strongly factual claims that can even be, for some of these I have, but other of these, like if you're going to find me videos of people saying unhinged things, there are videos of people saying unhinged things. Yeah, of course, there are crazy fucking Israelis and Jewish people.
No, my video is not just a compilation of Israelis saying crazy, unhinged things. That was just to demonstrate genocidal intent. Then there is the whole section where I clearly demonstrate that Israel is committing genocide. genocide. And then I cite a long list of organizations who label it a genocide and explain why they say it's a genocide. You didn't engage with literally any of that. That's why this person is making fun of you.
No, I'm saying debunk his claim when he's citing a copious amount of sources and organizations deeming this a genocide. Arguing over whether or not a thing is a genocide is a perspective on the ongoing war that if you want to get into fact deliberation, we can deliberate facts, but I don't have a perspective on whether or not it's a genocide, or I'm not as interested in hotly contesting that topic. And I think that if you are, I think it signals that there's something fucked with your brain.
It's not a war. It's genocide. That's the fucking point. And no, you are not interested in deliberating facts. That's why—
True. Then how did members of the Israeli military die?
you keep sidestepping all of mine. You're just pretending that you aren't interested in the label of genocide because that's the specific label you're trying to manufacture reasonable doubt about.
I feel like he's not deliberately. I thought at the beginning it was like a joke, but I just realized he probably just doesn't know how to spell the word genocide.
Everyone can see it by now, and that's why you're getting increasingly agitated.
In 2025, an investigation published by DropSite found that Meta complied with 94% of takedown requests issued by Israel since October 7. That same year.
Like, it is really crazy, too, that Professor Dave does, like, these super high-quality, like, science debunking videos of flat earthers and shit, and that comment in YouTube chat was true. He's using as his sourcing the same type of slop shit that conspiracy theorists that he argues against would use. Like, here is a TikTok video that has the spooky music and everything in the background playing while it gives you the opinion that you're supposed to have. It's like, Jesus.
Again, there are no TikTok videos here. Other platforms utilize vertical video now. And it doesn't fucking matter where a video is posted.
True. Thank you. Thank you. It's not TikTok. They were Instagram Reels. Good point.
I use what I can find, which is difficult since Israel's PR machine is constantly scrubbing the internet of evidence of its genocide. This is just a pathetic excuse to not engage with the statements of human rights organizations, let alone the content of these videos he's brushing aside. Want me to prove that he's being disingenuous here?
Oh my God. These are some of my most trying times. When I'm arguing with somebody over like, what's
True, Dave got him. It was a different
this
app.
is like a level 0 conversation.
You
When
baka.
I'm talking to somebody and I'm
Get
like,
wrecked.
okay, so you don't believe this happened? Okay, well, let's go through this. And I'll throw them an article and they'll be like, really? CNN, Fox News? Like, no, you fucking moron. They're quoting somebody from the government. I'm just giving you the articles so you can see the quote. Now, unless you think the article is misquoting the person or publishing a wrong quote, the source is not fucking CNN. The source is the prime minister. The source is the president. The source is this. Like, we can find
I couldn't find evidence, and it's probably just because Israel hides it. True.
20 different articles that source the same quote, or we can find a statement from the government itself. But people will look at something like, oh, your source is Twitter. No, Twitter doesn't publish news. What do you mean? Or your source is like, it's like, no. Oh yeah, people's lack of media literacy and just even understanding what a source is or what they're reading is incredibly frustrating.
Oh, so you're saying Twitter isn't a source. So neither is TikTok, which I didn't use, or YouTube Shorts, or whatever else you're whining about? That's right, you have to deal with the sources being referenced in the videos.
I like how he didn't get the fucking point. I don't know what to fucking say. He's using a news article and it's like, okay, whatever.
So the investigation this video is referencing is what we should be looking at, right, Steven? So this pageantry you're enacting when you claimed earlier that social media is overrun with pro-Palestine propaganda, when in fact all these social media platforms are regularly deleting pro-Palestine content and
the point was to go to the full source and not use those apps. It's not even just that. The intercept is probably not even the original. Hang on, I'm going to look this up. Oh my God, I hate that I have to use my email. I'm not using my email. I don't care.
is really
I don't
just
care
you being
enough.
a fucking douchebag. Got it.
Pangburn, who's a mutual contact of ours, says he reached out, and Professor Dave said no. I sent him a message on Instagram. He hasn't responded. Like, obviously, I debate anybody on, especially Israel-Palestine. It should also tell you something that this guy is like one of the most avid debaters on the fucking planet, as much as me, if not more, when it comes to the flat earth shit. But he won't talk to me on this subject, so.
Yeah, that's a cool story, but it's just that, a fucking story. I've done 2 in-person debates, one on abiogenesis and one on
Somebody
vaccine,
asked.
and 4 online ones, 2 on flat
Okay.
earth, 2 on creationism.
And?
In all my years as a science communicator, 6 debates. That's all.
Okay.
You just want to turn me into the master debater so that you can whine about me refusing to debate you.
What do you mean? No. What the fuck are you on about? Oh my god.
I have
Whatever,
no
dude.
interest in directly interacting
True.
with a gish-galloping, genocide-denying cretin, especially on a Pangburn stage, given what a creep he turned out to be.
Israel has a history of this behavior. In 1967,
The USS Liberty, the favorite, the
Oh
go-to.
my god, this is 2 hours long. Fuck
Yes,
me.
it's an example of Israel
Hang on, guys. Make life easier.
deliberately attacking America to achieve a political objective. Giggling like a toddler is not a rebuttal.
Honestly, I'm pro-genocide. Like, it sounds really shitty, but like, I think that Israel should just draw its fucking borders about where it is now, and basically Palestinians can go live in another place. That's really shitty, but like, that's about right.
Yeah, a joke.
First of all, I like that this fucking, I like that this quote was before October 7th, so I had no clue even that much about Israel, and I had no, obviously there wasn't the terror segment on all the attention on these, on anything related to Palestine, number one. But number two,
excuse
this
me.
is essentially their position.
You
just
said I'm a
reversed, where they're
debater,
like,
but
well,
I
both
did
sides are
6
probably gonna
debates.
genocide each other
No
anyway,
way.
so it should
It's
be like an
like
Arab state,
true.
and maybe they have to kick all the Jews out for it to succeed. Like, it is the opposite position.
My bad, you guys. I didn't know anything about Israel when I said that. But supporting the ethnic cleansing and genocide of Palestinians is totally defensible, you guys.
Wait. That's not what he said. Hang on. Hang on. In it, bruv.
So it should just be like no clue even that much about Israel, and I had no obviously there wasn't the terror segment on all the attention on these on anything related to Israel Palestine, number one. But number two, this is essentially their position just reversed, where they're like, well, both sides are probably going to genocide each other anyway, so it should just be like an Arab state, and maybe they have to kick all the Jews out for it to succeed. Like, it is the opposite position.
My bad, you guys. I didn't know anything about Israel when I said that. But
That's not what he said. Oh my god. This guy is so based. I love schizophrenia.
supporting the ethnic cleansing and genocide of
love it.
Palestinians is totally defensible, you guys, because it's just the opposite of what you stupid pro-pallies want. No, you fucking tool, you're just a genocide-supporting piece of shit who projects your lack of moral compass onto others. Nobody who is protesting genocide advocates for a reverse genocide. Jews and Christians...
Why is a YouTube channel with 4 million subscribers using fucking emotes?
We're living alongside Arab Muslims in Palestine prior to the Nakba. Jews could have migrated to the region after the Holocaust and done the same, as equal citizens. You can make the argument that racial tensions might have arisen, but do you know what sure as fuck made it a whole lot worse? Zionist militias murdering thousands of people and stealing entire villages and displacing nearly 1 million Palestinians, followed by decades of never-ending apartheid and occupation, followed by nearly 3 years of full-fledged, unambiguous genocide. So take your whataboutism and shove it up your...
Did the middle finger emoji. What is... this is
Gaping
based.
asshole.
Yeah, maybe don't say things like that, to be fair. No, I will say things like that, and I'll stand by it, because the people on your side literally watch terrorist fucking videos and they cheer them on. So suck a fucking dick. It is such the tone policing by you loser fucks that also don't care about this conflict and don't know anything about it. Like, maybe you shouldn't actually say you're pro-genocide. Well, sit here with your fucking kafayas backwards and you're in the most retarded fucking statements you could ever make about like, oh, Hezbollah is just like the government of Lebanon and blah, blah, blah. Suck a fucking dick. Don't sit here and fucking virtue signal now, okay, when you're cheering for dead Palestinian babies because you can jerk off to them and send them to your fucking friends online. Get the fuck out of here.
True.
Sorry, what terrorist videos are we watching and cheering on? I don't cheer when Israeli terrorists murder tens of thousands of children.
True! Thank you for not engaging with the fucking topic. All the... fuck. What a legend.
I oppose terrorism. You're a little confused. I mean, you can't even pronounce kafia while you brag about how...
I'm going to call it a kafea from now on.
...worldly and...
No, you know what it is? It's a keffels.
...knowledgeable you are, denouncing what
base.
you call terrorist organizations for resisting terrorism from the military superpower that is actively trying to wipe them off the face of the earth.
True, it's just
also,
resistance.
we all know that you do a lot of weird shit in terms of non-consensually sharing pornographic material, even involving underage individuals, so accusing other people of jerking off to images of dead Palestinian babies and sending it to their friends kinda sounds like the biggest projection of all time.
That's the meta now? True. This guy is nothing but meta.
I don't care, bro. Call me biased. I don't know if I'm stupid, but even though I agree with you on almost everything here, the whole Israel trip felt like a weird whitewashing of Israel. Even though you argued with the crazy people there, it had a very weird vibe to it. That's because Israel is nowhere near as fucked up and crazy and bad as you've been told that it is constantly over here. They definitely do bad things, and they're not beyond reproach. But, like, given the opportunity to go back in time when I said, well, both sides are going to genocide each other, but, I guess I'd probably prefer the Israeli side to the Palestinian side, 100 to 0, obviously. Like, the Israeli side of this conflict is a trillion times more compatible with Western values, Western democracy, cultural values, whatever the fuck else you want to say, than the Hamas side of it. And you're just, if you have to even stop and think about that for a microsecond, you've lost the plot so much that you're just brain fucked on the entire Middle East.
Brain fucked, brain broken. He resorts to his pathetic catchphrase every time he knows he's saying something totally indefensible. Hey, shithead, Israel being compatible with Western values of belligerent imperialism, apartheid, and genocide is exactly why it's such a disgusting country. America has been the global leader in terrorism since World War II, and Israel is a big part of that. That's exactly the fucking problem. America bombs wherever and murders whoever it wants. That's what Israel does too, which is bad. This is exactly why I would never debate some jerk off like Destiny, because what I just said is so fucking obvious that it's not worth debating, but he would try anyway by running his motor mouth about British mandate this, Ottoman Empire that, flexing irrelevant book report knowledge to try and obfuscate from the very clear and very obvious fact that Israel is nothing but a Western outpost for destabilization and resource extraction in the Middle East, not some kind.
I'm sorry, you're minimizing. You say that they're nothing but an outpost for destabilization in the Middle East, but a second ago you said they were the most evil thing in the world. Don't minimize my evil empire, buddy. Not the pic with his face and big text on it. True.
Of glimmering bastion of democracy in a sea of dirty Arab jihadis that want to rape your daughters. This clip is the
that was anti-Arab racism, and you need to take that back. That was very mean.
Stabilization and resource extraction in the Middle East, not some kind of glimmering bastion of democracy in a sea of dirty Arab jihadis that want to rape your daughters. This clip is the essence of Destiny's Hasbara. He is trying to convince American liberals that Israel, yes, of course, despite some uh-ohs and whoopsies, is ultimately in the right and deserves all the territory it is illegally seizing, despite the
He didn't say that, but okay.
tragedies that aren't.
First of all, he said that he would be if he had to choose between Hamas genociding people or Israel genociding people, he would rather Israel do it. Which is based. I'm just kidding. I don't really care.
Genocide because he says so. Pathetic.
This guy was mega sus. I would have to go back and read why. I don't remember. This is a long time ago. But this guy was... Every single Palestinian is like a poet or journalist or medical professional. Like, you notice this. It's like 13-year-old killed. He was actually a member of the press, and he was a doctor in training, and he was a journalist and a poet and a singer-songwriter. It's like, okay.
No, a random 13-year-old is never a poet and journalist and medical professional. Poets are poets. Journalists are journalists. Doctors are doctors. All of whom are...
Oh my god. He just caught Destiny being hyperbolic. Damn. Better fact check him on his hyperbole.
Deliberately targeted by Israel because those who humanize Palestinians with art must die,
True.
and those who broadcast Israel's atrocities must die, and those who heal the Amalek must die. But no, Refa Al-Arir was not sus. He was a poet who wrote moving poetry, like If I Must Die, for which he indeed must have died. Because that's all Gazans can do. They have no ability to defend themselves, so they write poetry and try to retain solidarity as a community in the...
True. Hamas just wrote poetry. They invaded Israel and just did poetry. Beep, 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 beep.
Fear of near certain extermination. He was targeted and murdered by Israel as part of their campaign to erase Palestinian culture, another aspect of this obvious genocide. And Destiny's defense of his own disgusting slander at that time is to call him sus and then move on. Unreal.
People have been telling us that the Palestinians are starving to death for decades. People have been telling us since October 7th that no aid is going to the country, that has been kept at a caloric deficit, and now here we are months and months and months in. Where are all the people dying for
And now we're years and years and years in.
starvation? Something is not adding up here. The math doesn't work. Something is not right about the story that's being told.
Yes, Destiny is denying the objective fact that hundreds of Palestinians have died of malnutrition and starvation.
That's hundreds? I've never seen that number. You have to go deep into the Al Jazeera archives to find that number. Hundreds? Even hundreds I haven't. But remember, the United Nations they released a report saying that more Palestinians were at, it's like IPC level 5 of malnourishment and famine or whatever, that there were more Palestinians classified under starvation than all the other people starving in the world combined. I'm not misspeaking. All the other people in the world combined, there were not as many starving people as there were Palestinians. And somehow, day after day, week after week, month after month, somehow they all seem to have clothes on. None of them seem like emaciated. Like sometimes you'll get videos of kids that have like cystic fibrosis or some horrible ailment or whatever. But
oh, by the way, the UN just declared there is no starvation in Ba Sing Se. Actually, has the lowest rate of malnutrition in the area. Let me check. Damn. Do you think he'll offer a correction? Based. Famine, when was this? This was like literally a day ago. Famine was reported in August 2025 following 2 years of the Hamas-Israel war that saw Israel severely restrict entry of food into the occupied Palestinian territory and launch attacks, blah, 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 blah. After the ceasefire, Israel allowed more humanitarian aid. Further improvements were seen with only 1% of children now showing signs of acute malnutrition or severe wasting, but long-term effects of acute hunger remain. Mass starvation averted. A UN-backed measure of food insecurity, IPC confirmed famine in Gaza. At the time, humanitarian access had been severely restricted since the war began in 2023, and 17,000 children were admitted for acute malnutrition treatment that month at hospitals in Gaza. Since the October ceasefire, Israel ceased restrictions on the entry of humanitarian aid, which has helped prevent mass starvation. The same figure dropped to 3,000 by March 2026, but it hasn't been enough to protect children's long-term growth and development. Right. Guess which? True! The two countries, US and Bisrael. But also, you know what? I'm gonna make an even crazier take. You ready? Israel prevented the mass starvation of Palestinians in Gaza and saved thousands of children's lives. There we go. That should be the take. Based. My based neoliberal empire, Greater Israel, is saving the Palestinian people from starvation caused by Hamas. 1 in 10 women of reproduction age were themselves malnourished. Okay, they were. Behind these numbers are children. Okay. Polls says, yeah, this is pretty reasonable. Okay, cool. So it improved. The conditions have improved. But it's still a genocide. But also the conditions have improved. Remember when conditions improved during that last genocide that everyone talks about all the time?
Deep into the Al Jazeera archives, as though
that
that's
is
not a reputable source
based
somehow.
point, Danny. Thank you.
The source is World Health Organization. Hundreds of deaths attributed to malnutrition and dehydration. The report states that 500,000 Gazans face starvation, destitution, and death.
Damn, he's gonna have to update this video from a day ago.
WHO a bunch of dirty Hamas terrorists, Stephen? Day after day, week after week, month after month, what? People starve to death? Yeah, because Israel deliberately prevents aid trucks from entering in order to starve people.
I think you mean Israel, the heroes of Gaza, that allowed more aid in and saved people from starving to death?
And by the way, when they finally let in a little bit of aid to prevent a massive wave of starvation deaths that would yield a mountain of bad press by keeping people just barely clinging on to life, that doesn't mean it isn't.
True, it's part of the genocide to stop a genocide. That is very true. Look at, you know what? You can't, I don't know if you're aware of this, Danny. Can I call you Danny? I'm going to call you Danny. Genocide is when you give people food and make sure they don't die.
A fucking war crime.
You might not believe it.
Widespread malnutrition and the medical conditions that it produces are not excusable just because they aren't all dead already. And to top it off, this worthless stack of filth is regurgitating the disgusting propaganda from Bari Weiss and the Free Press that children in Gaza who are clearly dying of starvation actually aren't starving but suffer from other health issues like cystic fibrosis or cerebral palsy, which just make it look like they're starving instead of them both having those conditions and starving to death. He is proudly—
What's your name? I thought your name was De Wolf.
regurgitating this
wow.
highly publicly debunked
To Alpha
Hasbara
Wolf.
talking point like the worthless Hasbara operative that he is.
Hasbara.
It's just like, it's the weirdest starvation of all time, where the population has been continuing to grow. You're not having people dying of malnourishment. You have like an obesity rate that's higher than like every other Arab country on the planet. You have like, not to say that it's good, not to say that it's acceptable, but like when you lie about every single fucking thing that you talk about for this region, it just makes, I don't know how to even fucking engage.
You are the one lying about every single thing, you lying piece of shit. The population continues to grow. Are you out of your fucking mind? They're being slaughtered daily. People are indeed dying of malnourishment. Obesity? Find me a picture of one fat Gazan right now. I fucking dare you.
Hang on. I can find you a fat Palestinian. Hang on. Get wrecked, libtard. DJ Khaled. Palestinian and fat.
This performative outrage while you project your dishonesty is what you will be remembered for, Stephen. Oh, and the weird sex stuff.
People think Jews control the West and all the governments in the media.
Wait a minute, weird sex stuff? What is he talking about?
And the blah, blah,
Never
blah.
heard of
How
this.
silly and conspiratorial. Well, it's not Jews wholesale, it's Israel. It's Zionists, both Jewish and non-Jewish. They do have an outrageous level of control, most obviously in the media.
This is me debunking his bullshit claim that by being anti-Zionist, I actually hate all Jews, which was kind of the main point of his hit piece, and his response to me debunking it is, oh shit, the end. What a titan of intellect.
Then there are all the mergers. Did you hear about the latest one? Paramount, Warner Brothers, CBS, CNN, and HBO are all under one entity. Owned by, can you guess who? Larry Ellison, the Zionist scumbag who—
Israel! Israel control everything. Zog, 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 zog. Not all Palestinians are happy having Hamas in control. Hey man, they don't need to worry about it. Once the genocide is complete, they won't ever have to worry about Hamas being in control ever again. He just said something about how it's bad people died. Okay, first of all, he's making a big assumption. Not all the time when people die is it bad. Like, Hitler famously died. That wasn't a bad thing. Elderly people die all the time. It's a part of, like, life, you know? That's not necessarily a bad thing. If they live forever, they might, I don't know, turn into fucking aliens or something. I don't know.
TikTok, and for the exact same fucking reason. When Zionist oligarchs have this level of command over the media landscape while also having their hands in military AI and all kinds of other imperialistic shit, it means being able to execute whatever
imperialism,
heinous
zog,
acts they
zog,
want,
zog,
and then
zog,
completely
zog.
controlling the narrative surrounding it after the fact. To say that the vast majority of mainstream media outlets are controlled by Zionists is not a fucking conspiracy theory. It's a statement of fact. You don't have to stop at CEOs either. Look at who is selected to disseminate the narratives.
Stevie, you previously whined about how I promote conspiracy theories regarding Jews controlling the media. I just explained how Zionists quite obviously control an enormous proportion of the media, and you said literally nothing. Can we assume that you're learning something from me here?
So your response to you saying Jews control the media is Jews control the media. What a fucking king. Him and Nick Fuentes would get along.
Editor-in-chief of CBS News is now Bari fucking Weiss, whose right-wing propaganda outlet, the Free Press, was one of the biggest mouthpieces for Israel in the past 20 years. And what did she immediately do when she got there? She gutted the outlet and ousted anyone with an ounce of journalistic integrity, including 60 Minutes correspondent and 37-year veteran Scott Pelley, who publicly proclaimed that Bari was hired to kill the place. With the ship now sailing where Bari wants it to go, guess who shows up on CBS News?
They're coming from the Pentagon, NASA, the CIA, the FBI, and the Energy Department. So let's bring in Avi Loeb, who now leads the White House UAP Council. Avi, what can you tell us? What's in these files? What are we looking at here?
Well, first, thank you for having me.
Avi fucking Loeb, the exact fraud I debunked that made Destiny cry about how I use the word Zionist excessively. Zionists take over CBS, hire a massive Zionist stooge to run the news, and they immediately host the Zionist fraud who spews bullshit about the UAP psyop coming from the government that is also held hostage by Zionists. Funny how that works, huh?
This is like a speech from American History X.
Again, I
Jewish aliens. No way he just used that Destiny ignored his schizophrenic ramblings as proof. Yeah, true. He really did. If Destiny ignores you, whatever you say is true. If I message Destiny right now on Discord and I just say, hey, Destiny, you're going to give me $1 million tomorrow. And he doesn't reply, that means he's going to give me $1 million tomorrow.
Demonstrated the very clear coordination of Zionists taking over media outlets to then employ and platform Zionist frauds, and his response is to shout, whoa, and then say this is like a scene from American History X. Who the fuck still listens to this guy?
Only Mamdani had the balls to say that he would stay in the fucking city he
I listen to this guy. Because he's just like American History X.
is the mayor of like a normal person. When Israeli influence has infected American politics so thoroughly that it shows up in bizarre ways like
Infection.
this, you know the
They're an infection. They're a disease. They're bloodthirsty animals. But also, I'm not anti-Semitic. But also, the Jews control the media.
System is completely broken.
How about when weird pro-Pally shit infects the media so much, the mayor of New York City is talking about how he's going to arrest the fucking prime minister of fucking Israel. I'm going to act an ICC warrant. Come on, bro. Oh my God.
How is it propaganda to hold war criminals accountable for their war crimes, dickhead? Arrest warrants from the ICC are propaganda now? Is the ICC Hamas? Go ahead and explain this propaganda to me with your big brain, Steven.
That's right, folks. I'm a neo-Nazi for pointing out Zionist tactics of deception and victimization. All the deception Israel engages in to gaslight the world into supporting genocide, that's not real because Stevie says so. The victim complex they espouse, perpetually claiming to be the victims of terrorism while they commit heinous acts of terrorism, that's also not real because Stevie says so. In reality, there are no neo-Nazi tactics afoot here. Instead, there is only the Zionist tactic of irrevocably tethering Zionism to Judaism so that they can shout anti-Semite at anyone who points at their disgusting behavior.
True.
I mean...
Based.
How could you separate the two? You have a diaspora of people, well, not anymore now because they have Israel, but prior to that, yeah, it was a huge people without a country that they felt like, so they didn't have their self-determination. Yeah, what do you mean? How could you separate the two?
How can you separate the two? How can you separate Judaism from the disgusting Zionist ideology, which is based on ethnically cleansing a region of its indigenous people to produce an ethno-state? Gee, maybe by pointing out tens of thousands of Jews who don't support genocidal ethno-states? Holy fuck, what a moron.
Just 7% of Jewish Americans identify as Zionists. How is that phrased? What? Identify as in like would call themselves that, or believe that like Jews should have a state? Oh my God! The AI answer I can click this is this is a survey published in early of 2026 by the Jewish Federation of North America. It revealed so this is the survey label breakdown. 37% identified as Zionist, 8% identified as non-Zionist. 7% identified as anti-Zionist, and 48% chose none of those labels. So but okay, good one, Chief.
Good one, Chief. I just dismantled his entire position, which is based on anti-Zionism being anti-Semitism because almost all Jews are Zionists. He did a desperate fact check, saw that the vast majority of American Jews are not Zionists, and his response is good one, Chief, while ignoring the imagery of fiercely anti-Zionist Jews protesting Israel's genocide. Talk about intellectually bankrupt.
There are even anti-Zionist, ultra-Orthodox Jews in Israel. Want to see what happens to them?
Oh, really? What happened there?
Happens to them?
What are these guys doing? Ready?
Holy shit, the video clip that starts 2 seconds before the fighting? Yes!
True!
Sorry, what are you implying happened before this? Did the timid Orthodox Jews do something to provoke the police? You're watching Israeli police beat up Orthodox Jews in Israel.
True, they did it for no reason. They just walked up and punched them for no fucking reason.
And this is the best you can come up with to excuse it?
I'm going to say that one more time so that it sinks in. Zionism is anti-Semitism.
Okay.
Zionism is a disgusting political ideology that has hijacked Judaism and Jewish history to justify imperialism, apartheid, and genocide. And Zionism is responsible for the lion's share of actual anti-Semitism that exists around the world as people react to Israeli aggression and misplace their anger on Jews as a whole. All moral Jews know this and speak out against Zionism the loudest.
Moral Jews.
All moral Jews know
All
this.
the good
Their
Jews.
cultural identity that is being shattered by these monsters. Zionism is to Jew and Zionism the loudest, as it is their cultural identity that is being shattered by these monsters. Zionism is to Jewish supremacy, as Nazism is to white supremacy.
As Hitler tries to conquer the entirety of Europe, and I guess they think that Israel wants to conquer, I don't know how much of the Middle East. They always say the greater Israel thing. Who knows?
He's got to be regretting taking on this video totally blind by now. I say an obviously correct thing, and he just sarcastically shouts, "Oh," on top of it, as though that's a rebuttal. Then he starts talking about Nazi Germany trying to take over Europe, remembers how that's directly analogous to Israel trying to take over the entire Middle East, which is why the comparison works so well, and then scuttles along. Astounding.
Can you be anti-Zionist without being anti-Semitic? Maybe, but if you really wanted to dive into it, there's like a big. I think it's actually a pretty deep argument, but most people aren't even close to being able to have that discussion.
Hey, jackass, why don't you try having that discussion with any of the thousands of anti-Zionist Jews who fiercely oppose Israel's genocide and co-opting of their faith?
Sure, gladly. Here's the deeper discussion if you wanted to run that down. You could say, is anti-Zionism the same as anti-Semitism? On the surface, you would say, no, you should be allowed to be critical of the Israeli government while still simultaneously not being anti-Semitic. Okay, sure, but that's not generally what anti-Zionism means. And if you say you're critical of the Israeli government how? If you're critical of the Israeli government in a way that you think that the Jewish majority of the state necessarily needs to not be a protected thing anymore, and you think you should necessarily allow the infinite right of return for Palestinian diaspora or whatever, and you think that necessarily it will follow from there, it absolutely will, that Jews will be a minority in the country, and then you're also okay with saying, well, if they're a minority, if they experience violence, I think maybe they should flee because they've, mistreated the Palestinians for so long, and that's okay. Then essentially what you're saying is, I am anti-Zionist, and I'm willing to accept the ethnic cleansing of every Jew from Israel if that's what happens at the end of it. So, is anti-Zionism anti-Semitism in that case? kind of. I understand why the Jewish people that say that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, I understand why they say that, because that is the logical conclusion, but none of you fucking retards have ever been pushed on that point in your entire fucking life, because you don't have any conversations about this. None of you do.
Oh my gosh, if we end apartheid and genocide, then bad stuff might happen to Israeli Jews because I say so, which means we shouldn't do anything to stop apartheid and genocide. First of all, he always insists that preventing Israel from continuing to commit genocide would necessarily result in the dismantling of the State of Israel, and that the dismantling of the State of Israel would necessarily result in Palestinians returning to claim the homes that were stolen from them, and Palestinians returning to their homes would necessarily result in a complete and total ethnic cleansing of Jews from the region. That's a trio of ridiculous non sequiturs. Protesting genocide is simply protesting genocide, but I agree the State of Israel should be dismantled, so let's grant him that one. Does that necessitate a right of return for displaced Palestinians? No, not necessarily. I would advocate for that personally, but it's a discussion that would be had. I personally believe that anyone who is alive who had their home stolen from them should get it back. As for Jews becoming the minority, how the fuck is that a concern that should outweigh genocide? And
no, he's not. Destiny is against Bibi in the right wing. He was agreeing with Biden, who put red lines on them. Yeah, he knows. He's just schizophrenic. I don't know what to tell you. What are you gonna say? It's bad. I don't understand. Why does he think, first of all, Israel existed before the apparent genocide? But then again, he probably thinks the genocide's been happening since fucking the Holocaust. The Holocaust ended, and then Jews went, all right, now we're going to kill some people. And then they went and genocided Palestine immediately after the Holocaust. There is no nuance. They're just bad. Yeah. None of these, what is this fucking opinion? Just, thumbs up emoji. I'm so based. Thumbs down emoji. You're wrong here because this is an unhinged position that totally Hamas would never do. Never mind October 7th. October 7th didn't happen. Nobody died on October 7th. There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
How is that equivalent to ethnic cleansing? Again, Jews lived in Palestine prior to the Nakba. They'd be in way bigger numbers now than back then, and they would be the impediment to coexisting peacefully, not Palestinians. Lots of them would leave by choice because they wouldn't be able to enjoy the benefits of apartheid and occupation any longer.
True! It sounds like you're saying that most of the Jews would leave. It sounds like you just want all of the Jews to fucking leave.
That's not the same as ethnic cleansing, which is what Israel is doing.
True, setting the conditions that people leave their home country is not ethnic cleansing. So therefore, if we blow up all of the Palestinians' houses and they leave, it's not ethnic cleansing.
When you're used to subjugating other people, equality feels like oppression, and it would take decades for things to equilibrate, with lots of hate crimes mainly in the direction of Palestinians, since plenty of Israelis would not leave and would be enraged by their belligerent imperialistic ethnostate being dismantled on...
Stupid Arabs ruin my ethnostate. Arab nationalism doesn't exist. There is no Arab ethnostate, just only the Jewish one.
Palestinians' behalf. But whatever challenges would arise, there's no way it would be worse than fucking genocide. So stop
True! Genocide is the worst thing ever! It is, and there is always a genocide happening. For 10 billion years, over 1 trillion Palestinians have died. All of them were babies.
Like anti-Zionists are silly toddlers who just can't wrap their heads around diplomacy. It's pathetic.
People who inhabit a place don't deserve to continue inhabiting that place. Palestinians don't deserve Palestine. Well, it wasn't an apartheid ethno-state. Jews and Christians...
Was it? Was it not? All types of people lived happily ever after in the Ottoman Empire and all the preceding caliphates. There wasn't a single religion that was enforced. What does caliphate even fucking mean? What is stupid? Everybody lived in harmony for 2,000 years, and then the Jew nation attacked. Like, what the fuck? What is? It's just so infantilizing and stupid too. It's an American perspective. This is why I know his wife is the whitest fucking American possible. I don't even care if she's brown. She's the whitest fucking American possible, because there's no way that anybody in this guy's family is remotely related to any part of the world outside of America.
This is the biggest thing they don't understand. Jews won't leave even if the Constitution gets worse. They see it as their homeland and behave accordingly. Yeah, of course. If someone just declared that you're... Like, if you were told to leave your house, like, if like, your entire town was told to leave, conditions, yeah, like, you wouldn't fucking do it. I'm listening to this goober while trying to draw. True. Don't call me a goober.
Wow. Okay, first of all, my parents are Italian immigrants. Even my sister was...
My parents aren't white, they're Italian. People of color.
Born in Italy. I'm literally the only person in my entire family who was ever born in America, or anywhere outside of Italy for that matter, in
Mamma mia!
Recent history at least.
Second,
my wife is not white at all. She's Arab. Arabs are not white. Her parents fled Palestine in the 1970s. Her 2 oldest brothers were born...
She's looking pretty Italian to me, buddy.
...born there, while she and her youngest brother were born here. We are both first-generation Americans. Her parents had their homes stolen from them twice, once separately when they were children during the Nakba, and once again together shortly before they fled the region. So my wife is Arab American and not white at all. None of that really matters.
Wait, is she Arab or Palestinian? You can't be both.
Of course, since genocide is genocide no matter where my wife and I were born or grew up or where our families are from, and us being white or not white or American or non-American has no...
The more you say genocide, the more it is true.
...bearing on our ability to condemn genocide. But more importantly, without going back 2,000 years for whatever bizarre reason, Palestine prior to the Nakba was not an ethno-state or a caliphate or whatever the fuck you're implying. Being majority Arab Muslim does not mean ethnic or religious supremacy is codified into law. Muslims, Christians, and Jews did indeed coexist peacefully. There were shared cultural spaces and celebrations. My late father...
I have Tim Tams. Thank you. Benji, go on. He wants to leave. I'm gonna shock him.
Father-in-law was friends with non-Muslims. So you can whine about anecdotal this or that, but you're not interested in learning about anyone's stories anyway. So there's no point trying to help you see another perspective than the Zionist one. So you can keep whining about how infantile it is to yearn for a reality without a genocidal ethno-state terrorizing the Middle East. Nobody gives a shit.
Well, it wasn't an apartheid ethno-state. Jews and Christians lived in Palestine, and they got along
Like,
just...
it was literally an apartheid ethno-state. Literally, it was one religion throughout the whole thing. And if you were a different religion, you were sectioned off in your own little fucking place. And you couldn't even hold members in government. It was literally an apartheid under the empire, under the caliphates preceding the destruction of the Ottoman Empire, the fall of the Ottoman Empire. Like, literally, actually, definitionally.
No, it literally was not that. Christians and Jews could and did hold public office in Palestine prior to the Nakba, and nobody was sectioned off. They were culturally integrated. You're lying, like the worthless lying piece of shit that you are. But maybe if you yell a little louder, you'll fool more people. This is exactly what he would do if we were to debate, by the way. Just confidently lie while yelling over me nonstop while his idiot fans cheer like seals.
From choosing this slanderous title and thumbnail. Gotta get those...
Slanderous?
Clicks, right, Steven?
He is indistinguishable from a neo-Nazi, 100%. I'll own that easy. Actually, more mask off than most neo-Nazis would be, because they realize they can't get away with this much crazy shit.
Sure, double down on calling me a neo-Nazi after you previously made a big deal about how you didn't call me that. You just said I used neo-Nazi rhetoric. Well, now here it is nice and clear, so nobody can be mad at me for tanking this piece of shit's reputation at the end of the video, since he is outright calling me a neo-Nazi. Anyway, that's it for Destiny's response. The overwhelming majority of the reaction...
What did he say? I was ignoring him because he's boring.
See, after you previously made a big deal about how you didn't call me that. You just said I used neo-Nazi rhetoric. Well, now here it is nice and clear, so nobody can be mad at me for tanking this piece of shit's reputation at the end of the video, since he is outright calling me a neo-Nazi. Anyway, that's it for Destiny's response. The overwhelming majority of the reaction was him watching me demonstrating very clearly that Israel is committing genocide and either saying nothing, chuckling to himself and spouting vacuous one-liners, or whining about totally inconsequential unrelated shit while subtly skipping ahead at various points to try and minimize audience exposure towards visceral imagery that makes a conclusion of genocide undeniable. Anyone with a
Yes, he is hallucinating. I have to say, this is honestly one of the biggest wastes of an hour of my life I have ever had. Because this guy fucking sucks. All he does is spurg out and just go, genocide, 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 genocide. And now, when we get to the next half, it's probably just all pedophile, 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 pedophile.
brain knows this is genocide, and he has a brain, which is how we know he's just lying and denying genocide.
Oh, he just said he has a brain. You complimented him. Maybe he likes Destiny.
On purpose. With that covered, let's move on to Pangburn. If you're not familiar with his channel, this is what it looks like. Check out this flashy banner, which serves as his audition to be Tucker Carlson's understudy in performative outdoorsiness. What are
Okay. Good one. I don't know. Like, he's Tucker Carlson, I guess.
For these terms under his name, I think you missed one, buddy. Be sure to add genocide apologetics when you get it.
What a legend!
Chance. Once again, this guy has been having a full-on nervous breakdown about my video since I released it. When he first did one fairly long fact-checking style video, it was already way out of line. But then the more content he made about me, the funnier and funnier it got.
True, it was so funny. Hang on one sec. I need to check something. Wait, how do I... Peace. There we go. What? Bro, this thing sucks. Alright, we're just gonna do Control F. But I really don't want to have to do that. But anyway. Okay, he says it like how many bloody times? He says it 1 trillion times. He says genocide 1 trillion times.
I almost started to feel sorry for the guy. It's an implosion on a scale that is rarely observed, at least not since James Tour decided to make a zillion videos about me, and we all know how that ended.
Trillion.
Obviously, I
A
couldn't bring
gorillion
myself
even.
to sift through every last minute of this Ken Burns saga on steroids, because ain't nobody got time for that. But I jumped around and watched as much as...
Excuse me? Digital blackface? stop being racist.
I could, and boy is it pathetic. So let's go through some highlights now. Rather than going chronological, let's start with the most pathetic content of all, some of these shorter clickbait videos that legitimately qualify as slander. Take a look at this shit. Professor Dave believes conspiracy theory, and the thumbnail reads, image from Dave's video. Oh my goodness, Dave is such a vile anti-Semite that he actually used the Happy Merchant to make fun of Jews. Except he knows damn well that I used this image to represent legitimate anti-Semitism in my video. Allow me to refresh your memory.
People often note that you can find some really egregious anti-Semitism on social media, so my tweets must have been even worse than those of actual Nazis in order to merit suspension. But those people are very confused. Zionists love anti-Semites. They quietly celebrate their presence on social media.
You fucking did use it in your video. What are you complaining about? You didn't need to use that, you fucking idiot. Oh my God. What an actual retard.
Because their existence fuels Israel's victimization narrative. Israel can bomb anything they want, shoot any child in the head, steal any land, but they will always continue to be the victims. I had dozens of loser trolls whine about this part of the video as well, and I mocked every last one of them for being fucking idiots who didn't—
Ha! I mocked every single one of those nerds. I am a far better... He literally sounds like the member, like the debate pervert from DGG. He's just like, ha! I mocked all of you fucking nerds with my superior debatability and facts.
Listen to a word I said. As you can see, I said that Zionists love actual anti-Semites on social media because it fuels their victim complex, and I showed an actual anti-Semitic image to represent the actual anti-Semitism I was referencing. Pangburn knows this because he watched—
I'm sorry. That's not the impression I'm getting at all. Why would you... My dude... You're saying it's only that, and see, look, this is why you get to do genocide, and then you're like, fucking, look, what the fuck are you on about?
Didn't listen to this part of the— will always continue to be the victims. I had dozens of loser trolls whine about this part of the video.
Like, you literally did not have to use that image at all.
As you can see, I said that Zionists love actual anti-Semites on social— anti-Semitic. Pangburn knows this because he watched my video many times, so he's deliberately misrepresenting my video.
How is he misrepresenting the video? This was from your video. What is the misrepresentation? Thank you.
To perform blatant character assassination in a clickbait thumbnail. Like
it wasn't. It really wasn't. It really. You would have done yourself a massive favor by not including that image because it would have made you look less like a fucking anti-Semite. But good one, bro.
Just so we can post the link and thumbnail on Twitter to get some engagement from losers who won't even watch the content. They'll just shriek anti-Semite and crap their pants. This is just a montage of snippets being reposted from his longer reaction videos. I just wanted you to see some of these thumbnails because they're fucking insane. Moving along, this one is called Professor Dave Targets a Minor, and the thumbnail says, look at this kid. Yes, he is pretending I'm some kind of pedophile or sexual predator when that is in fact what Destiny is. How about this one?
You know what? I wouldn't have believed him.
Sexual predator when that is in—
But Destiny literally said this. Hello there, I am a sexual predator who targets minors. Which, by the way, I don't know if he realizes this, but this is called defamation. Yeah, crazy, isn't it? Because he has never said this, and he has never done this, and he is not a sexual predator, so... RIP.
Fact, what Destiny is.
I hope his videos that usually get around 4K views are enough to fund his court case, but whatever.
How about this one? This is disgusting, Dave. The part of your video where you pointed out that Zionism is morally indistinguishable from Nazism is disgusting. You know what I find disgusting? Genocide denial. But since this one is so short, let's hear—
You know what I don't like? Genocide.
Make his case.
Dave, this is nothing fucking like that.
In calling them vermin, parasites, rats, whatever they could do to dehumanize them.
You've been doing the same thing, Dave, throughout this video. You've been calling other people dehumanizing names as well.
Yes.
So you shouldn't do that either. I agree they shouldn't be doing that, but you shouldn't do that either.
Who have I been calling what, dipshit? You mean the monsters who are actively committing...
You mean the monsters? True. You mean the bloodthirsty disease that is infecting? True.
Genocide? I shouldn't call them monsters because that's too dehumanizing. Am I so mean for using words like
Yes, he does. He literally, his channel is dying, and he made the Destiny video. Rape? Grape? Rape? What's going on, Maxims? Unless he reacts to Destiny or some other big page flat earther. True. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of rip. What's up, Maxims? We okay? Okay. Be safe, buddy.
monsters to refer to people who murder children by the tens of thousands? Is that the same as Nazis referring to Jews as vermin and rats, or Zionists referring to Palestinians as human animals and...
Or pro-Pally guys referring to Israelis as a disease, calling them monsters, saying that they are bloodthirsty demons? Is that possibly another example?
Amalek? You think that calling out the perpetrators of genocide is the same as hate speech aimed at dehumanizing an entire race of people to target
Bye-bye.
them for genocide? Thanks for showing everyone what it...
If I said that, if I was saying using the same kind of language to describe Arabs, and then you criticized me, and then I turned around and said, excuse me, you think criticizing the perpetrators of terrorist attacks is like messed up? How dare you? I am anti-terrorism, and what you just did was pro-terrorism.
Complete fucking moron you are. You're doing my work for me. Did
True,
you want to take
true,
a
true,
second
true,
and
true,
come
true,
up
true,
with
true,
something a
true.
little more convincing?
And this like Israel is equal to the Nazis. Come on, man.
Which is deliberately done to piss off Jewish people, by the way. It's just an excuse to compare Jewish people to the group that killed like fucking millions of Jews, right? It's disgusting. This here is an anti-Semitic fucking like, I don't know. I don't know, man. The guy's just too based. I don't care anymore.
You can't be serious.
He is serious?
Wow, that is pretty convincing. I mean, here I was comparing two deranged genocidal societies, given that they both commit genocide, which is a pretty strong link, but I wasn't prepared for... Come on, man. You really got me there, jackass.
You just gotta you gotta have some moral culpability here.
True.
For putting up a Israeli flag and equaling that to Nazis, like
deranged.
Oh, do I need some moral...
Would you say, Dave, that he is brain broken even?
culpability? What about the people who are actively committing genocide? Do they need more...
Shit, wait! This is the first time I've heard of this. They're doing a genocide? Wow.
Culpability? Go fuck yourself.
Oh,
that is
I'm sorry,
so,
Dave.
Dismissive of the unique level of destruction and brutality that we saw in World War II by way of the Nazi regime. And honestly, I think this kind of comparison, this graphic, putting it up is shameful. Deeply shameful. You cannot equate these things. Just because you see some similarities, like, I mean, yeah, it's a bad and wrongful thing to do to compare these things.
It's bad and wrong to compare two genocides, you guys. The Nazis were totally unique. They slaughtered men, women, and children indiscriminately, which is exactly what Israel does. But
True. That's why there's so many Palestinians that are still alive, and that's why they ship food into fucking Gaza, and that's why they... Like, I just don't get it, man.
there is
Whatever.
no comparison because reasons. The only thing that's shameful is your Israel apologetics, asshole. You should be ashamed of yourself.
True.
It's identical. They proudly announce genocidal intent and then later deny.
You are grafting on that information you just read, those anecdotes, onto Israel as a whole. And you're saying Israel is equal to the Nazi regime. That is a leap. You know better than that. You should not be making that leap. It's also an immoral thing to do, to make that leap. Even if you see some things that you think, some of these statements are made, and when we look at the context, and when someone like Benjamin Netanyahu clarifies that he's talking about, wanting to wipe out Hamas specifically time and time again.
How is anyone this much of an intellectually bankrupt piece of shit? How many quotes do I need to show? How many different ways do I need
Tell
to
'em,
demonstrate
bro.
the
Tell
very clear
'em.
genocidal intent that is expressed by Israeli officials and citizens across the board? You can shut your eyes and ears and pretend they're not.
True. All of the Israelis, they're like, damn, we got to kill the Palestinians because we just love blood and violence and we hate kids. Remember when all the Israelis said that? He has the screenshots of tweets after a massive terrorist attack. So that means that's what they're doing right now.
Not real. The rest of us will live in reality and mock you for being a genocide.
Yes, this is reality. Neo is in the Matrix and he'd be like, I don't need to take the pill. I'm in reality now.
Denying douchebag. And I've got news for you. Not every single German citizen living under the Nazi regime would have decided to slaughter the Jews out of their own accord. They got caught up in nationalistic propaganda, just like what Israel does, which is why Israeli society is so supportive of genocide. Here's a bunch of young girls waving Nazi flags. Do you think they all woke up one day wondering why nobody is murdering all the Jews? Of course not. That's what propaganda is for. All you're doing is continually reinforcing everything I said in the video while pretending to refute it by saying, come on, man, and that's shameful. What a fucking dong.
Like, this is literally...
Okay, that was a pretty funny diss. Hey, Danny, thanks for the sub. You are my, I believe, 112th sub. Based. Surely we will get to 10,000 subs soon. 10 billion subs, actually. All of Israelis are so Nazis that an Israeli newspaper just interviewed Hassan and glazed him. One of many, indeed. Welcome to the Oz-Sad. By the way, if anyone is actually keen, hang on, let me get the Discord. Should probably do that. There you go. If anyone wants to join the Discord, go for it. I am building a little community and we will commit genocide soon. Okay?
At the level of...
So if you like genocide, join my Discord.
Anti-vax pseudoscience. This level of comparison, this line you're trying to draw. Pseudoscientific.
True.
No, genocide denial is like being an anti-vaxxer. You're pretending genocide isn't real, just like anti-vaxxers pretend vaccines don't work or kill people or whatever. You're a fucking idiot, just like anti-vaxxers. Sorry.
Like, we're talking about the Nazi regime
Listen, I was on this guy's side, but then he said I should get vaccinated, and you know, I ain't trusting no goddamn needle.
By way of Eichmann, figuring out the transportation of Jews to the death camps, you know, starting off with massive pits where even the committed Nazi soldiers had a hard time shooting just constant lines of Jews in the back of the head. They had to be drunk or on drugs to be able to carry out these duties. And this gave rise to, you know, the gas trucks that made it psychologically easier on the Nazi soldiers to eradicate Jews. And then eventually we have the death camps by way of Zyklon B to, you know, industrialize mass murder. Dave, this is nothing fucking like that. It's nothing fucking like that. And it is...
Nazi Germany had panels on how to kill more people fast, and Israel had panels about how to distribute food and aid. Exactly the same thing. That is very true. And you're forgetting like a lot of the lessons that Nazi Germany gave us, right? Hitler was just trying to warn us about the evils of Israel, you know, and, you know, they killed him for it. Along with the, you know, the Zog Empire of America. For Rizzle.
It's disgusting that you would compare these things in that way.
Literally everything you...
I am being sarcastic. If anyone is watching, I am being sarcastic. I was not being serious. Please do not kill me.
Just said immaculately describes Israel, you dumb fuck. Gaza is an open-air prison.
The most potent evil in existence is Israel, not anti-Semitic, by the way. True.
I'm thinking about a client that was ordered to torch a house or to explode an MRI machine or things like that, or to prevent people from getting to water or to shoot at unarmed civilians. This is another breaking point.
They line them up and execute them and throw them in mass graves. They shoot children in the head.
Wait. Hang on. Because I remember some of these, and they were not Israel. Give me a second. Hang on. Okay, I don't know.
They line them up.
It doesn't really say who did it.
Mass graves. They shoot children in the head. Then they
like, I gotta clarify. One of those things just says they found a mass grave. It didn't say that Israel did it. Right? They just said that they found a mass grave. So good one.
Vacations in other countries to try and soothe
every
the
mass
PTSD,
grave.
And they
Grave
terrorize
is by
those
Israel.
places too. It's a nation of fucking psychopaths. IOF soldiers are exactly like Nazi soldiers. They both carry out industrialized mass murder in your own words. You are proving my point for me, dingus. Okay, with the morsels covered, now let's get a taste of the hours and hours and hours of live-streamed damage control. This was nothing but him sitting at his computer and feeding parts of my transcript to AI until it told him things he wanted to hear. You know, like a real intellectual powerhouse. Before diving into the AI party, let's also not forget that Israel is actively training AI to deny genocide in Gaza through a technique called LLM poisoning, where the data fed to AI chatbots is chock full of Hasbara from propaganda websites like these, so that the models regurgitate the lies back to the user.
True. You know what? You know what I really love about these guys is that everything that shows what they're saying is wrong is manipulated, and everything that shows that they're right is objective fact. They are never wrong, and everything that says that they're wrong is propaganda or manipulated. It's incredible. He can never be wrong about any of this.
Lies like denying the murdering of 5-year-old girl Hind Rajab, since that's the subject of a critically acclaimed feature film that's making the rounds. Or falsely identifying murdered Palestinian journalists as dirty, dirty Hamas terrorists. Yep, former Trump campaign manager Brad Parscale and his firm Clock Tower X have spent tens of millions of dollars ensuring that AI searches spit out pro-Israel propaganda, thereby rendering 100% of this activity by Pangburn totally moot. Oh, but I forgot. Accusing Israel of manipulating media is anti-Semitic. How convenient. Okay, let's start with the very first 3-hour fact-check video.
I have since, during the Destiny live stream, sent an email to Dave asking him if we could raise $1 million that would go directly to supporting Palestinian children in need, would Dave reconsider sharing the stage with Destiny. Just today, I've also made a similar offer to Hassan to share, Hassan Piker to share the stage with Destiny, and I think we'd be able to raise $5 million for Palestinian children with that event. You know, we can find a way for these people who are diametrically opposed or actually hate.
I'm actually surprised he included this in the video.
Each other to come together.
But I'm guessing he's going to say, for
causes.
I'm not going to do that with a genocide denier.
Things that are much more important than particular feuds.
What a manipulative sack of crap. Dave, why won't you debate Destiny, and why won't Hassan debate Destiny for $1 million or $5 million or whatever number I want to pull out of my ass to help?
I think you mean the AI is Jewish?
Palestinian children. I guess Dave doesn't really care about those kids. First of all, anyone who believes he could raise millions of dollars for anything is a fucking moron. He didn't even break even at my New York vaccine debate event. There is no shot in hell that he could raise anything even remotely close to those numbers, no matter what he or his shitty AI say.
RIP. First of all, I would argue the Israel-Palestine stuff would definitely raise $1 million. Like if you had Destiny there and you, I understand that your YouTube channel is dying and you have no clout to the point that you had a vaccine debate and the guy wasn't even able to make money off of you. But I imagine Destiny has the clout to raise $1 million pretty easily. I think he's done similar things in the past. So don't stress about it, Dave. I'm pretty sure you can do the debate.
Second, there's no reason to believe that any ticket sales or money raised would go to charity as promised. In case you're unaware, Pangburn got embroiled in a huge scandal a few years back because he got caught not paying out his speakers and not refunding ticket holders for canceled events. Sam Harris, the genocide-denying douchebag, outlined this in great detail since he's one of the speakers who got stiffed. He outlined the whole debacle in a blog post. Others called him out too, like in this lengthy Twitter interaction. Pangburn philosophy totally.
You had such a problem with this. You worked with him. Incredible, bro. It was such a deal breaker for you that you worked with him and did a vaccine debate with him. Incredible. Did he pay you? Did he stiff you for the money? No, he paid you. Even to the point where he didn't make money on the event.
Imploded, and nobody wanted to touch this guy after all that. There's a long video from someone named Benjamin Boyce that goes into quite a bit of detail regarding Pangburn's perpetual shadiness.
So he took no responsibility there, but even though he empowered...
Problem is, Destiny hates pushing his community and asking for donations. He didn't even do a proper stream for his ground game. They had to force him. I think a big reason why is because of there's obviously a lot of controversy going on with Destiny, and I feel like the guy's probably a little bit self-conscious on the idea that being associated with him might be like somehow toxic to it. Obviously, I don't give a fuck. I think it's based that he does all of that stuff. But I can understand, you know, being a little bit hesitant to put your name on something after all of the shit that people spew about you online. So, anyway.
Ordered her to do that, he would pull back on the reins and tell her to stop doing things. And that devolved all the way down to the technical. When we did the show at the Orpheum on June 23rd, we're in Vancouver, it's in Vancouver, we've worked in that building before, and everybody was familiar that they have problems with the audio equipment in the house. It's older equipment, it's been used for opera, and the microphones in particular aren't in the best condition for a speaking engagement. And I believe our production manager said to him that we need to cross-rent equipment. We need to get equipment in. Most people bring their own equipment in or rent equipment to bring it in. And he said, no. No, we brought in a vendor, we brought in a company, which oddly enough, they still have not been paid. I think they have a huge outstanding bill for that they've never been paid for.
Oh, the video that he has online right now that's monetized.
Yeah, but as far as making payments to vendors or hotels or any of the venues, we used his credit card, and more often than not, it was maxed out. And our production manager spent an awful lot of time explaining to vendors and patrons why the card was declined and having to backtrack and go to Travis and say, you know, get it paid, pay it down. And we were never really aware of the money flow at all. We had no idea like where the money was going or coming from. We just get invoices, hand them to him, make sure they got paid, or more often than not, she would pay them through a credit card online.
We don't need to go through a bunch of this. I'll just link to this video in the description. But the point is that absolutely everything he was doing.
I don't know. He wants to attack the guy's credibility for no reason, even though the guy didn't attack him as a person. I don't know. Yeah. Good for him, though. You know, he gets to destroy a professional relationship because someone disagreed with him on Israel-Palestine. Good for him.
As Pangburn philosophy was shady as fuck. I was vaguely aware of all this when he approached me to do some events after he relaunched and rebranded.
Oh, so you were aware of it and then you didn't look into anything. Sounds like you're denying a genocide.
Simply Pangburn. So I just made sure to get my travel reimbursement and tiny appearance fee up front for the vaccine debate. I believe in second chances, so I figured as long as we did things that way, I was willing to roll the dice. And to be clear, I didn't have any problems with him whatsoever for that event. But with his history of cutting corners and ripping off speakers and ticket holders, why the shit would anyone believe that any money he could raise, which would be nowhere near $1 million, would actually go to where he says it would?
So you believe in second chances, but also you don't believe him. Good one, bro. You believe in second chances and you gave him another chance, but also you're not going to believe him when it comes to hosting a debate. Good one.
And why would I agree to a debate run by a clearly biased moderator like him that would be overrun by Destiny's toxic cult? No thanks. I have a better idea. How about if Destiny admits that Israel is committing genocide, apologizes sincerely for all of his Israel-funded genocide denial, and I'll film myself donating...
Israel-funded? Are you saying he's funded by Israel after he said he wasn't? Good one.
$5,000 to a charity for
Toxic
Palestine,
cult.
on top of the money I've already donated over the past few years. Wouldn't that be a little more productive and reliable? Don't you care about Palestinian children, Destiny?
How's a channel with 4 million subscribers like all I can give is $5,000? Bro is struggling.
Anyway, Travis tanked his business once before. He was
My
given
favorite
a second
part
chance, and now he's
is when he
tanking it
puts his
again
face
by
and
running
big text on top of it.
endless
True.
damage control for a sex pest genocide denier. Go figure.
Sex pest, pedophile, genocide denying, genocide pest sex.
Dave made. Israel is objectively committing genocide. Then the verdict is defensible expert conclusion, but overstated and an uncontested judicial fact. So this is an expert conclusion that people will point to. There's more information I'm going to read, but it's not uncontested. It might be Dave's opinion and the opinions of expert some experts and their conclusions that there is, in fact, a genocide occurring or has occurred, but that shouldn't be presented as a universal fact. It's still contested.
Contested by who, dickhead? Israel? That's shocking. How about...
Oh, man, I should just fucking die.
You actually engage with the arguments put forward
In a
by
video
human
game.
rights organizations and genocide scholars who have confirmed that it's genocide. You just say it's contested.
It can't be a
because
war or
people
some war
refuse
crimes.
to
It's a
admit it.
genocide.
That's
True.
not an argument.
Yep, that's
So
exactly it.
they've claimed every single human rights organization.
Every war is a genocide, and every genocide is a goonocide.
Organization in the
I don't
world has
fucking know,
labeled
man.
it a genocide. This is
Where is
false.
Mana?
So this is the
Where is
first
my
false
king?
claim of Dave's. Several major organizations have done so, but not literally every organization. Some, including Human Rights Watch, initially used narrower formulations such as extermination, crimes against humanity, and acts of genocide. Institutional conclusions also differ in legal scope and wording. So it's just when Dave's saying every single human rights organization in the world has labeled it genocide, surely he knows that there are human rights organizations that don't disagree with this. Maybe Dave doesn't consider those to be legitimate human rights organizations, but the claim in and of itself is just false.
Which ones, asshole? List them by name. Oh, you don't want to because they're obviously shilling for Israel? Convenient.
Another claim was that the reported total of roughly 70,000 deaths is dramatically low. So it's possible that there is an undercount, but Dave in the video is dramatically overstating what is known. So UN reporting cited 73,035 reported deaths by June 21st, 2026. Statistical research indicates that direct violent deaths were probably undercounted, but available estimates do not establish that hundreds.
I remember one of the things that someone pointed out was that the number of like female and child deaths that were being counted by the Gaza Health Ministry were like excessively high compared to like there was an what was it called? They were overrepresented in the total number of casualties, which kind of indicates that the numbers are being fluffed a bit. That's one of the main reasons why people are like, I don't know if I trust the numbers on this. Like, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of problems going on in Gaza and a lot of people are suffering needlessly, but it's like, you know, we don't need to exaggerate an already really bad situation and delegitimize a position of, hey, we should do something to help the people there. You know? I don't know.
Of thousands.
Yeah, then they found that the ratio was always consistent no matter how many died. Yeah, I know, right?
Had already been killed directly. So it's possible that there's an undercount, but Dave's presenting like that 70,000 deaths is dramatically too low, that it is in fact an undercount. This is again just presenting something as a fact here, when really, like, we don't really know.
Yes, we do know that the official count is objectively an undercount for the very obvious reasons I gave in my video, and not just because the number has barely changed in like 2 years despite Israel bombing them constantly. Only identified bodies go towards the count, which doesn't include bodies that were totally vaporized, are still trapped under rubble.
Okay, so Dave's not understanding the problem with this. You can't count bodies that you aren't aware of, right? Yeah, it could be higher. There are probably bodies that you are going to struggle to find. But you can't just go, well, then clearly 1 billion people died. Like, you can't do shit like that, right? I've seen similar things like this from like MAGA people, right? Where they talk about election interference. Where they go, well, let's say someone gets caught for illegally voting twice, right? And they will point to that and say that that is proof that there is a serious issue with election rigging. But the problem with that is that clearly the guardrails work because that person ended up getting caught for election illegally voting twice. But then they'll say, no, but that's the one person that got caught. What about all of the other ones that got away with it? You know what I mean? It's like, what other ones? How do you know that there's other ones? How do you know that there's more dead? Oh, we don't know. There probably is more. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean you can infinitely increase a giant number in your head of 1 billion people to imply that there's like way more deaths than what there is. You know? Yes, I understand that some of the bodies are not accessible. Some of the bodies are vaporized. Some of them are not brought for identification. That is understandable. But you can only deal with the numbers and the facts in front of you. You can't just hypothesize that things are that the number is 10 times higher or some shit, right?
Or never brought in.
I don't know. That's just my little gripe that people have been doing lately, where they just start inventing numbers, and that's one of the logics that they use.
For identification. This is indisputable. He doesn't even bother mentioning this reasoning because he's not actually playing my video. He's just cherry picking what he wants and teasing responses he likes out of AI.
You mean like how you're cherry picking? Like, what the fuck is that point?
All-knowing AI said it, so it must be true.
So another claim, about 78% of
all of those experts said it, so it must be true.
Gaza has been destroyed. This was another claim by Dave. So this is broadly accurate only if, quote, damaged or destroyed structures is meant. So UN satellite analysis found approximately 81% of structures damaged or destroyed by October 2025. Demolished is not equivalent, of course, to damage. So the video Dave created here uses a stronger term than the source supports. So damaged or destroyed is what Dave should have said. 81% of Gaza has been damaged or destroyed. That would have been more accurate, not 78% of Gaza has been destroyed.
Instead of nitpicking over words like damaged versus destroyed, maybe it would be easier to just show the drone footage I included in my video, shot after shot after shot.
You notice how you can see like houses and shit? Like some of them are perfectly fine. You notice, like, look back here.
Stronger term or destroyed. Gaza has been damaged or...
Instead of nitpicking over words like damaged versus destroyed, maybe it would be easier to just show the drone footage I included in my video, shot after shot after
see,
shot.
There's a radio tower there and
apocalyptic
everything's
wasteland,
fine.
so everyone can see that Gaza is totally uninhabitable, therefore genocide. No, just gonna hide behind this fake semantic rigor. Got it.
No, it's like, if I showed you just the footage of October 7th and none of the footage of people dying from Israeli airstrikes, that could probably paint a pretty compelling narrative to you that Israel didn't kill anybody, right? Just showing footage is not objective fact or evidence, right? The reason the numbers stopped growing so much is because for more than a year, in the end of the war, Israel removed ground forces. The last 6 months of the war were just a slog and full of mostly aid talks and humanitarian disasters, and not strikes and fighting. Yes, there is also, just for objectivity, there's also the issue that obviously the health ministry is kind of fucked right now, so they're not really able to count the numbers properly. So I'd be cautious in assuming that's the only reason, right? There are obviously going to be more deaths than what there are. I think it would be naive to assume that that's the case.
There's another
That
claim.
is not
Every
right,
hospital,
so-
school, bakery, village, and city has been destroyed. This is, for the most part, rhetorical hyperbole. So the destruction is, of course, exceptional. exceptional. Approximately 93% of school buildings required major rehabilitation or reconstruction, and the health system was devastated. But every hospital, school, bakery, and settlement is just literally incorrect. So when you start saying things like every hospital, school, bakery, this paints a picture of a place that no longer has hospitals, schools, bakeries, villages, and any kind of remnants of a city. And that's not true.
It is true. 0 traditional schools in Gaza are operational. Every single one of the 700 schools has been bombed. 92% are destroyed, and the rest are partially.
How can there be none? All of them have been bombed, but 92% have been destroyed. Like, what is that even? You're contradicting yourself constantly.
700 schools has no schools in
0 traditional schools are operational. Traditional schools. A halt of regular schooling. School buildings. The remaining school buildings that have escaped catastrophic destruction are not operating normally. Instead, they have been converted into overcrowded emergency shelters for tens of thousands of displaced families.
Gaza are operational. Every single one of the 700 schools has been bombed. 92% are destroyed, and the rest are partially damaged, so they now serve as shelters. 0 hospitals in Gaza are fully functional. Every single one of the 36
fully functional means it's not operating at the fullest of its capacity as it was before, Dave. Little Davey.
hospitals has been bombed. About half are able to do anything whatsoever, which is usually nothing more than amputating limbs without anesthetic. Every city has been destroyed. Gaza City, Khan Yunis, and Rafah are in complete ruins. The destruction is worse than if a nuclear bomb had been detonated. Literally. All of this is
true. Well, if that's the case, they should have just nuked them. It would have been quicker. I'm just kidding.
What I conveyed very clearly in my video with the help of visual aids, which he is avoiding entirely so he can play a desperate semantic game with the transcript.
The claim Israeli forces have deliberately shot or sniped Palestinian children. So there are documented cases of this. I think it's more clear to say that there are documented cases where this has occurred. And I also think it's responsible to also mention that this is disputed. And the universal wording. I don't have too much of an issue with that. Like, if it is in fact the case that Israeli forces have deliberately shot or sniped Palestinian children, like, for me as a thinker, I want to understand the context of what happened there, how it was dealt with. Was this supported by, those in power, by the military?
You're joking, but if Dave saw it, he would add it to the next video. Yeah, probably.
Itself, I would assume it wasn't, but that's one I want to further investigate. I'm going to make a little mark there.
Yeah, Israeli snipers shoot Palestinian children in the head all the time, but hey, it's disputed by Israel, which is lying literally always. And he thinks that if it's really happening, it's condemned by the higher-ups, obviously. You know, the ones who are constantly talking about how all Palestinian children...
Constantly, and he only has examples of people saying things after October 7th. Can you give an example from 2025, 2026, 2024? Hello?
Are terrorists that should be murdered? Real honest take there.
I think it's important to, first of all, I was very shocked by Dave's video because it felt to me a lot more like the videos he debunks. than the video that he makes with like Instagram clippings and sources from like TikTok posts, and that seems very counter to what Dave usually
I do not use a single TikTok video. They are all Instagram reels.
Creates.
Hey, look, an idiot caller is regurgitating the dumb shit Destiny said. Whining about which social media platform I sourced videos from isn't an argument, and nobody I debunk is playing Instagram videos. They spew a script of lies that I debunk. Normally, I do that with primary scientific literature. This isn't science. You want to hear Israeli officials expressing genocidal intent? I show clips of them expressing genocidal intent. It does not fucking matter where those clips are posted. Get your head out of your ass.
You know, you've heard a lot from Hassan. How does this kind of rhetoric make you feel?
I think I feel like what black people felt like
He's
in like
very
2014 during the BLM movement.
The most serious.
Okay.
The serious of the serious.
Basically, like when they say, "No, I don't hate black people. I just hate, you know, thug black culture," or I don't. It's not like anyone. They don't hate blacks. I just hate anyone who supports BLM. All right. Like this is what I hear. I hear a way, it's the same anti-Semitic tropes. Jews want to kill children. Jews control our government.
Yes.
Jews take over. Jews are a small minority that's conniving behind.
There's a reason several people notice the same thing, yet he's still at the point that it's actually not TikTok exactly. Yeah, I know. I don't know. You know, I was very much pro-genocide, but I think he's convinced me that genocide might be bad. He has motivated reasoning of making it the most evil and worst. Yeah, pretty much.
Behind the scenes, Jews are manipulating our media.
True.
This is what I'm hearing, but instead of the word Jew, he's using the word Zionist. And he might not be aware that he's being anti-Semitic, but I see and hear the anti-Semitism like a black person can hear something like, "Oh, it's BLM. People who support BLM are racist. People who support BLM are lazy. People who support BLM are part of a thug culture. They're just criminals. They just want to get away with crimes. They're looters." Right? This is the type of language you generally hear against black people.
Israel is killing children. Israel does have enormous influence in our government. Israel is manipulating global.
All of the things that I'm saying are true, so it's not anti-Semitic. I will not show that it is true.
Media to a profound
I will just
degree.
show you the same thing over and over and over.
And I used the correct language, Zionists, because that's the political ideology that Israel's activity is based on, which is not specifically representative of the global Jewish community. This
What is Zionism? What does Zionism mean? What does Zionism mean?
jackass is just doing the exact thing I debunked in my video of equating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, so he either didn't listen to a fucking word I said, or he's doubling down on the exact propaganda I debunked because he has nothing else to say.
The next claim, the vast
Sure,
Hamas
King. Go off,
command
King.
center alleged beneath Al-Shifa did not exist. So one more time, the vast Hamas command center alleged beneath.
Once this Peng Burn section is done, I'll probably watch a different video. I don't really want to watch all of the Destiny, everything to do with his sex life shit. I'm kind of bored of it.
Shifa did not exist.
I don't need to know what the guy does with his genitals anymore.
Correct. Evidence supported.
No
some
offense to
Hamas
him, I'm
military
not
use
particularly
of
interested
the
in his
hospital
sex life.
complex, including weapons, tunnels, hostages, or command activity. However, initial Israeli depictions of a vast central headquarters were not substantiated at the scale originally suggested. So again, partly correct, half truth here.
No, it's a full truth. Israel planted a couple guns and pointed at a random tunnel. That's not evidence of anything, and it
Random
sure as
tunnel.
fuck does not substantiate
Just-
the ridiculous.
Just a random tunnel and a random gun that just happened to be there. Just a single gun, just a random tunnel.
CGI
You're bored of it, but the snarkers will go over it daily in excruciating detail. I mean, yeah, but it's like, what is new? Like, it's just the same shit over and over and over and over again. It's like, I think, honestly, these guys are, I kind of feel bad for the snarkers, you know? A lot of them, they're struggling to get a job and stuff. And, they need this in life. You know, I think we should be a little bit nicer to them, you know? When I see Mrao, I don't see a degenerate who, you know, tries to hook up with 17-year-olds. I see a man trying his best. A sad, you know, little kitten who's struggling to make ends meet. I was exposed to a Discord call of several people comparing moans, and then they did it again the next day. Oh my god. Hey, you know, they gotta see which one has the best moan.
Video depicting a massive high-tech command center that Israel concocted out of thin fucking air. This is just another example of him pretending to take the middle ground when he's really just using fake evidence presented by Israel and regurgitated by the AI model he's using to distort reality.
The claim Israel knew the detail.
Keep in mind they have footage of the tunnels, of Israel going through the tunnels, but we're just expected to believe that they just don't exist and that the footage is fake. So it's great. This moan is a new girl. We should find her. And I'm like, please kill me. Oh my fucking god.
October 7 attack was coming and deliberately
Coming?
allowed it. One more time. Israel knew the detailed October 7 attack.
Let me guess, he's just going to say it's an objective fact and not show anything. It's like, they did do this. It is proven. It is a fact. They are committing a genocide.
Attack was coming.
You're coming? Hell yeah.
And deliberately allowed it.
Deliberately allowed it. True.
There is compelling evidence of intelligence and preparedness failures, ignored warnings, and mistaken assessments. That is not evidence that Israeli leaders...
I'm going to practice question mark roundhouse kicks on snark heads like Mrao. Be nice to Mrao, okay? That guy's struggling, you know? As opposed to accidentally allowing it. True. It was an accident.
Permitted the attack.
Well, I put forward some very peculiar testimony from Israeli soldiers that would seem to support what I said. If you want to pretend it's completely unsupported, then you'd better offer some kind of explanation for that testimony, dickhead. Just shouting conspiracy theory isn't an argument.
I proved it. 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 Hannibal, 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 Hannibal. Zog, 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 zog. Genocide, genocide, genocide.
In the real world, we examine all the data and arrive at the conclusion that best fits the data, including the data that doesn't fit the narrative you want to be true. So offer your explanation like an adult, or admit that you can't and don't even have the courage to try.
Someone just asked, I wonder how many subs Dave lost over this video. I hope Dave doesn't lose any subs over this video. Dave Farina, the world needs to stop doing this. Just because Dave may, in fact, and it seems like he has, made mistakes in the video he released, doesn't mean he has no value. Doesn't mean the value of everything else you used to value loses its value.
In Dave's world, if someone disputes, he is paid or Israeli Hasbara. True.
Is that a riddle?
Is that a riddle?
Dave's just Dave. Dave's a fallible human being just like anyone else. So don't go and unsubscribe from Dave because he gets things wrong here. And it's not like the entire video was incorrect, right? We're nitpicking. In the same way, Dave Farina nitpicks other people's videos, which is a good thing.
I don't nitpick the frauds I expose. I obliterate them. And boy, does his...
I obliterate them with facts, and then I come. Anyway, that guy is nicer than me. Fuck Dave. Me and my homies hate Dave. How dare you hate my king? It's a Zen cone. I don't know what the fuck that means, bro.
And he starts calling this a disgusting piece of propaganda
Such a
rather than a video with some mistakes that he's nitpicking. Also, I gained about 12,000 subscribers from this video so far. Thanks for your concern, random asshole.
Protest and anti-terror.
Out of the 1 million people who watched his video, 12,000 of them subbed. Oh my god, he did literally... Yeah, he did.
Terrorism
law so far. Mistakes that he's nitpicking. Also, I gained about 12,000 subscribers from this video so far. Thanks for your concern, random asshole.
Protest and anti-terrorism laws. So
I don't nitpick, I destroy. Anime voice. Nothing personal, kid. I don't nitpick. I rape.
Dave's claim Germany is making ordinary criticism of Israel punishable by 5 years in prison. This is false and misleading. The proposal concerns public denial of Israel's right to exist or calls for its destruction under circumstances conducive to anti-Semitic violence, not ordinary policy criticism. So that one is just by Dave is false or misleading.
This is a perfect example of how this is nothing but disingenuous nitpicking. The headline here is that in Germany, you can get 5 years in prison for saying that Israel doesn't have the right to exist. Bear in mind, of course, that Israel objectively does not have the right to exist.
Objectively, it doesn't have the right to exist. Oh my God, states do not have rights! Sovereignty doesn't exist! It doesn't exist! There's no sovereignty! States don't have rights!
States don't have rights. People do. Saying that Israel doesn't have the right to exist is just a neutral statement of fact. So the
It's Israel, not Israel. True!
intellectually honest thing to do would be to marvel at how Germany is descending into fascism and threatening to jail people for things they say, a clear violation of free speech in a
I wonder if the country that fucking perpetrated the Holocaust might be a bit sensitive to anti-Semitic fucking shit. I wonder if they really don't want to go through that again.
supposedly free nation, and it's happening in service of Israel. This would be insane even if it were for people publicly calling for the total destruction of Israel, just like Israelis constantly and loudly call for the total
You think Russia's trying? First of all, by his logic, Palestine doesn't have a right to exist either. Good one, bro.
destruction of Gaza. But this isn't even that. It's for saying an objectively true thing. 5 years in jail for saying something that's trivially correct.
Palestine doesn't have a right to exist. Logic, the rapper? True, the raper.
Holy
Wait,
fuck,
what?
that's chilling. Any normal person would be freaking out about how insane that is. But
Oh my
Pangburn
God,
is
we're
here to
freaking
act like a
out, we're
shady
freaking
lawyer
out!
and dig through minutia to manifest microscopic procedural wins, not act like a real person. So this is what we get.
The next claim, the U.S. NSPM 7 criminalizes anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, and migration advocacy. Unsupported description of the text. The memorandum expands investigation of domestic political violence and raises genuine civil liberties questions, but the video presents ideological examples and feared applications as though they were express criminal offenses.
I literally showed the text that they themselves published, and it listed all of that shit. You're just lying, which is why you're not showing any screenshots from my video.
Wait, what is this? Common threads animating this violence concluded anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, and anti-Christianity.
And it listed all of that shit. You're just lying, which is why you're not showing any screenshots from my video, since they prove the things I say.
True. Screenshots prove what he says. He has all of the screenshots, guys. Fucking science YouTuber, by the way. Screenshots.
Ashkenazi Jews are simply European. This is false. Genomic research consistently finds that Ashkenazi Jews possess both Middle Eastern, Levantine, and European ancestry. Estimates vary by method, source population, and genomic region, but the evidence does not support
Weasley
either,
little liar,
quote,
dude.
purely European
What a liar.
or purely Levantine.
Asshole, when you say you're quoting someone,
Asshole.
you have to actually...
You know, it's a good thing that he started that with an insult. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known to be extremely angry at him for being nice like that and just carefully explaining why you're wrong. Incredible. Thank you.
I didn't say simply European. I said largely European. Here's the clip to prove it.
Do
True.
Jews have more Middle Eastern ancestry than Scandinavians?
Should have screenshot it when you said it, bro.
obviously, but over many centuries, that ancestry got diluted and they're largely European now.
Largely European, as in some Middle Eastern and some European. You're literally corroborating what I said while pretending I'm wrong. What a fraud.
One of the claims by
What a
Dave was
fraud.
Israel bans ancestry tests.
I love this
because
point
they
because
would
Europeans
expose
themselves
Jewish
didn't
origins.
see Jews as Europeans
This is an
and killed them.
unsupported
Yeah, I know, right?
conspiracy theory. Israel tightly regulates genetic testing, especially tests concerning parentage, family status, and medical information.
Again, that's literally what I fucking said. I said they tightly regulate genetic testing. Again, let's play the actual clip like you should have fucking done.
This is also why these ancestry kits are tightly regulated in Israel and can't be purchased in Israeli pharmacies. They don't want citizens to find out that they're not fucking Middle Eastern.
I'm sorry. Why does it? Okay, dude, I
They
don't know.
pretend to have a divine.
This is how you know he's a fucking racist, because it's like he seems to think that Middle Eastern is like a blood thing and not where you're fucking living.
Claim to a region that they're not from.
See that? I didn't say ban. I said regulate. You said ban and then corrected the thing I didn't say with the phrasing I actually.
What is the implication when you say tightly regulate? Tightly regulate implies that they're trying to restrict access to something, are they not, Dave? Which implies that they're trying to prevent people from knowing that they are part European. Wow, incredible. Thank you, Dave.
Used. Are you fucking kidding me with this shit?
Are you fucking kidding me? That is technically not what I was saying. Even though it was basically the same fucking point, it wasn't technically what I was saying.
Privacy,
Good one,
family
bro.
law, and religious status concerns.
Good one,
No
Dave.
evidence
I love you,
shows
Dave.
That its purpose is to conceal Ashkenazi ancestry.
See, this is the problem with fact-checking like this and pretending you're being empirical. It's just a cop-out. Of course, there's no
He says while nitpicking.
explicit conclusive evidence to prove that this is why they so tightly regulate access to genetic testing kits. The claim that Israel does this to discourage citizens from realizing that they're not Middle Eastern is not in the same epistemic category as F equals MA. So the fuck what? It's an extremely logical and compelling explanation for a bizarre and arbitrary regulation. He's acting like this could only be true if Israeli officials explicitly and publicly stated on the record that this was the reason for the regulation, which of course they would never do. This isn't the physical sciences. You have to look at what dishonest governing...
Yes, I'm aware that most of them came from Northern Africa and the Middle East. So he admits that he pulled it out of his ass. Yes, exactly. He's just going, oh, it's a logical conclusion if you're a fucking anti-Semite to believe this.
Bodies are doing,
so therefore
and
I'm right.
Construct plausible explanations for the things they do. What I said is an extremely plausible and sensible explanation, which he refuses to engage with.
First of all, Dave, if someone gets injected with the COVID vaccine and has a heart attack, it is a logical conclusion that that person likely died because of the COVID vaccine. There you go. I just used your same retarded take to make an anti-vax fucking point. Good one, bro.
In an intellectually honest way. It's just, duh, no proof, duh, and he acts like he's winning something.
Destiny, in a video clip, apparently gives advice to Israeli soldiers to put away
my
their
reason
cameras.
is the logical
The quote
conclusion.
telling soldiers not to
Your
film themselves
conclusion is
wearing
the
Palestinian
Jewish
women's
conclusion.
clothing is real. It can reasonably be condemned as callous because it treats degrading behavior as a public relations error and makes a joke using the term war crimes. So yeah, this is Destiny's making a joke here, and it's dark humor, right? That's the way I understood it, and I understand how people are not gonna like that kind of humor, but my understanding of that moment is that he was making a joke, and I believe he was talking in front of a group of.
He'd never say Jewish like that. It would make him sound like an anti-Semite. It's the Hasbara conclusion. True.
Jewish people.
I think you mean Jewish Zionist Hasbara conclusion.
When he was in Israel.
Yes, he was joking about IOF terrorists murdering Palestinians and then taking pictures wearing their clothes. And he was essentially encouraging them to keep doing all of that, except for the taking pictures and sharing them on social media part. That's not dark humor. That's called whitewashing genocide. Good.
True.
Good God, this is the most transparent damage control I've ever seen.
What would it take for you to take the genocide that's happening in the region as a established fact? Because there isn't like a supreme body of truth to tell us that.
Well, there's the International Court determination, right? I'm waiting for that. If the International Court...
Can you imagine if the International Criminal Court, the ICJ, rules that it's not a genocide? Immediately they're just going to say that they're bought by Israel, so it's going to be great.
Determination determines that, yes, a genocide was committed. I will accept and believe that a genocide was committed. I'm relying on that body of consensus for that.
And now we get to the genocide denial. Destiny denies the very obvious genocide Israel is objectively committing, either for money or out of spite for Hassan. Pang Burn denies it too, because he earns money from Destiny. And this bullshit attempt to sound scholarly and discerning while doing so...
Destiny explicitly told that group to stop doing war crimes. Then he said, or if you're not going to, stop fucking filming them. Does anyone actually, can you do me a favor, PJ? Do you know where to find that? I think it's just literally, it's the meetup in Israel, right? Yeah. There is no genocide in Ba Sing Se.
Running the IDF, okay? Leave your fucking cell phone at... There's the one piece of advice I'll give you, okay? If you're joining the IDF, okay? Leave your fucking cell phone at home and stop taking stupid fucking videos, okay? Because everybody's fucking you with them, okay? And if you see a soldier, okay, going through a fucking drawer, and listen, if you want to fucking wear a dress and you think it's funny, just don't fucking take a fucking video picture of it, okay? Jesus. There's the one piece...
I mean, I don't really think that's him saying you should do war crimes, but okay.
Is absolutely revolting. Let's understand why.
Absolutely
An ICJ
revolting.
court case requires formal participation from Israel, and they are allowed to delay proceedings as long as they want. That's what they've been doing indefinitely while committing genocide. Israel says, hey, we need more than the 9 months allotted to prepare our case. They'll delay as much as they can while continuing to do genocide, even though South Africa stated that there is no basis for the extension request. They're filibustering. They're dragging...
So wearing a dress is bad in your eyes, Destiny? True. Men can wear dresses if they want, Destiny. True. He is
delay
transphobic.
culpability for genocide
Problematic.
as long as humanly possible. Then, once prosecution and defense lay out their case, there's another 6 months each for the second round. In the meantime, the ICJ has already ruled that genocide is plausible and issued demands to stop acts of genocide, and Israel ignored all of them, continuing to starve people and demolish everything in Gaza. Fixating on a formal verdict of genocide is nothing more than a distraction, delaying action by the international community to end crimes against humanity that will inevitably be ruled as genocide. That's why we look to human rights organizations and independent genocide scholars who aren't drowning in bureaucracy to make their determinations. And they have unanimously determined that this is genocide. Travis doesn't even attempt to engage with a single organization or scholar that I listed, or acknowledge anything that any of them say. It's just, ICJ not say yet, so I no believe.
Just to be clear, I wasn't saying that Tani was encouraging... Yeah, I got that, man. I was saying that that was one of the arguments people were making, right? That was the argument he was making. I think you explicitly said that he said to stop doing war crimes. Yeah, don't stress. I understood.
Unga bunga. He knows this ruling won't
Unga bunga? What the fuck? Kind of racist?
happen for at least another year and a half while Israel continues to murder people and illegally expand its territory every single day. And do you know what else Israel is doing while the ICJ moves at a snail's pace? They're hauling off 100 trucks worth of rubble per day, 10 million tons so far, with no independent oversight. This is not just to prepare for real estate development, they are actively erasing evidence of their war crimes. They're removing bodies of innocent people.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. Yeah, all good, man. They did not ominously say there is a genocide. True, they need to be ominous.
They've slaughtered, whether in mass graves or under prepare for real estate development pace. They're hauling off 100 trucks worth of rubble per day, 10 million tons so far, with no independent oversight. This is not just to prepare for real estate development, they are actively erasing evidence of their war crimes. They're removing bodies of innocent people they've slaughtered, whether in mass graves or under demolished buildings.
Does he understand that you don't necessarily need the bodies to prove genocide? Two judges said there isn't anything here, and the rest. So the argument that the UN's argument on why it was a genocide, this isn't the ICJ, was because of the statements that you showed him, the screenshots, right? The statements, as well as one of the statements about cutting off northern Israel from having water, and the feeling that they weren't doing enough for aid, right? So he needs bodies to prove rape, but not genocide. I'm confused. I don't think he said that, but that was my understanding, right? And the problem with that is that it doesn't do enough to show intent, right? You can argue that it's a war crime and that they're doing things that are kind of fucked up. But it's just a technicality issue. You don't have to believe that Israel is extremely moral or any of that shit. You can argue that they're committing war crimes and shit. But I think, this whole time, this is what I think. If anyone is an Israeli psyop, it's people who do shit like this, right? Because they sit there and they just, I don't know.
Carpet bombed. This is specifically being done to evade criminal investigation, to erase forensic evidence, so that when investigators are finally allowed to snoop around, they won't find everything.
Yeah, exactly. The main concern is the aid, the rest is meh. Yeah, pretty much.
They are literally
the water cutoff was pretty
destroying
bad.
crime
If they did
scenes.
that would have been fucked
In
up.
the meantime, we know the extent of the atrocities today. It's genocide. When all the Palestinians in Gaza that are still alive are rotting in concentration camps, and the new Gaza high-rises are
in concentration camps run by Hamas.
Up and running, the whole place looking like fucking Dubai, filled with American and Saudi and Israeli billionaires, are you still gonna whine about some ICJ ruling, or can you use your fucking brain like a normal person with a conscience?
But I said that, this is a great location. It all begins. See, I'm a real estate person at heart.
You notice how he made a video on Destiny, but he didn't bother making a video on Trump and how he's causing a genocide?
And it's all about location.
Psyop.
And I said, look at this
Doesn't give a
location
fuck.
on the sea. Look at this beautiful piece of property. What it could be for so many people. It'll be so
Cheapens
great.
Rwanda and
People that are
Armenia.
living so-
It's not even just that. One of the main issues I had with calling it a genocide so early on was because I felt like, you remember the saying someone's had after one of the arguments was like, hey, you should vote for Kamala Harris. And they said something along the lines of, you can't double genocide a people. And I don't think that person really understood the weight of those words, right? Because yes, you cannot double genocide, right? If it's already happening, it's already happening, right? But if it's not already happening, someone's going to say those words to you when it does, right? And that's the problem with being so hyperbolic and stretching things and using misinformation and exaggerating figures and shit to make your point. You end up in a situation where there can't be a double genocide. So either it was a genocide when it wasn't, or it's a genocide when it is now, right? And I'm just going to discredit you based on the fact that you said it was a genocide on October 8th, right? That was my big problem with it all. You know, people weren't using objective fact. They weren't using reasoning. They weren't being careful with their words. They were being as hyperbolic as humanly possible to, you know, sling mud
Poorly you're going to be
and
living
sink
so
Kamala
well.
Harris's
But it
campaign
all
so
began
Trump could
with the
win.
location. That's the vision. They look out on the waters, and very few places are like it.
And we can also see a very
Because, like, who gained the most out of that, right? Wasn't Kamala Harris. She lost the fucking election. You know who gained a lot from the left and, you know, pushing the whole Israel genocide thing on the Dems? Fucking Israel, didn't they? They gained a
clear
lot
double
from it,
standard
didn't
in
they?
action. The ICC issued arrest warrants for Bibi and Yoav Gallant in November 2024 for crimes against humanity, including starvation as a method of warfare. So Travis will wait for the ICJ to tell him whether it's genocide.
Funny how that
but
works.
He'll deny Israel is deliberately starving Gazans, even though the ICC is ready to arrest Israeli officials for doing it. Astounding. Do you understand now why Pangburn plays grab ass with AI instead of honestly engaging with anything? When you see Gaza with your own eyes, when you see the destruction, the carnage, the slaughter, the starvation, the ruining of every single life in Gaza, you easily conclude that it's genocide. Destiny indirectly acknowledges this when he tries to define genocide.
A highly specialized intent to destroy a group of people in whole or in part. And that highly specialized intent is...
Yes, I remember that happening, PJ. Because I remember he was super stressed about it. He thought his career was going to end. Is he going to ignore they also want to arrest the heads of Hamas? True.
What makes
I thought the heads of Hamas were already dead.
genocide so unique.
They all say some version of this, intent to destroy in whole or in part an entire group of people, and yet they deny that precisely this is happening. Not a single Gazan has a normal...
I can't take him seriously. I can't take you seriously if you just do typos all the time and deliberately misspell things to sound retarded. Yes, they do. Yes, they did want to. They charged both the Israeli leadership and the fucking Hamas leadership with war crimes. Meanwhile, Dave is unironically calling for the genocide of the Jews. Yeah, kinda.
normal life. They live in hell. Beyond the countless thousands slaughtered, you have huge numbers of amputee orphans. Everyone is walking around with crippling PTSD, living in tents that Israel continues to bomb indiscriminately, desperately trying to find enough food and water to survive. That's what genocide looks like. That is the complete destruction of a people, their land.
Uh-oh. Oh. Yes. Oh no. No. Rip. Mooks' shit got hacked again. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, Mooks' stuff I think got hacked. Yeah, she just sent me a DM. Oof, that's not working. Sorry, I'm like dying. Okay, well, hopefully Sharp is onto that. Maybe I can. I think her and Radiant are tight, right? We'll see. Yeah. They found a mass grave from Rwanda in like 2014. Pics for it too. Who knows after the recent drama? Yeah. No, she got hacked a while back. I don't know why they're targeting her so much. But yeah, I've seen similar messages in the past where they're just like, oh, it's Mr. Beast. Oh, here we go. She's got her shit back, I think. Because her status is back to do not disturb. We'll see. Give me a second. These guys are admins. Okay, all right, back. All right, let's finish this part.
Their dignity, their culture, their ability to pursue happiness, all eradicated. Independent human rights organizations can assess this without any...
There are free websites to and shit like that. Yeah. I use them all the time when getting stuff off Discord. No, to be honest, I just don't really connect my Discord with much. I don't know, like I've just never had any issues with my shit getting hacked so far. I've got 2-factor on like everything, so.
Any red tape, and anyone with a
and other security shit on there as well.
set of eyeballs and a fucking brain can see it. Denying this is immoral and disgusting, and yet Destiny denies it. His loser cronies like Pangburn deny it. Whether for reasons that are financial, legal, or ideological, they are denying Israel's genocide. This is worse than Holocaust denial.
True. What a fucking legend.
They're worthless scumbags, and
if you sign up and press some links on You Want a Prize, press here. You can get hacked. Yeah, of course. Who? Are we fucking clicking that shit? Hell yeah, let's go.
The insignificant minutia they try to bring up is nothing but a red herring, a distraction from the
Damn, good thing he put worthless scumbags there. I wouldn't have known.
very obvious genocide they refuse to acknowledge. All right, after this total failure pile of a fact check, he decided to do another 20 hours of what he calls full analysis. Let's get a quick snippet of what that looked like. Claims of immense networks of Hamas bases underneath hospitals to justify the bombing of every single hospital in Gaza, only to provide zero evidence of such bases after the fact, except a few planted guns several hours after entering and a list of terrorists that was really a calendar.
All right.
Bro, didn't we learn like grade 1? True, I could do that to Dave. We grew up with the internet. I mean, hey man, sometimes you just gotta click it sometimes, you know? What happens if you do win the prize, PJ?
Oh, okay. What I believe is the case when we went through this last night is it wasn't just a few guns that were
Oh my god, Peng is just triggering me.
located.
There might really be single moms in my area. True, there might be.
Trying to find where that. Dun, dun, dun. What's that covered?
I can't listen. Like, why couldn't you edit this more? Are we fucking serious? Oh my god, dude. I'll just kill myself next time. In a video game, not in real life. Fuck me. Do I have to listen to someone go? Anyway, we're watching my boy Mana. So enjoy that.
So anyways, we're going to start the
My king. Everyone who knows him knows he is my king.
interview here. Here is Andrew Wilson. Here's my actual reaction to the interview. This is the full interview. I watched the full debate of Andrew Wilson versus Candace Owens. Let's see.
He is booming, indeed.
Theme for this.
Yeah,
because that starts with part one.
I'm a little upset we didn't get paid for having this interview, but that's fine. We have to take it in stride.
My man does not need a noise gate on his microphone.
Right. So Andrew, why don't we just...
So can I ask you a question? You want to make jokes about this money thing? Where did Andrew Wilson make 300 and get 300?
More snark, finally. No, I am not snarking him. He is my king. Okay, and...
$1,000
Oh, he's got a Discord, by the way. That's cool. Maybe I'll join.
For a debate. In such a short time. Notice.
He's been a content creator for a while, man.
Sure. Let's keep making fun of this.
Just start there.
Oh my god, he's making fun of him? I thought they were
Why don't you
friends.
establish-
7,000's in the mail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, you know, according to Candace, I have a much higher price tag than that. So let's start here.
I'm sorry, Mana, but I'm not listening to that fucking microphone going for the whole fucking day. What do we got? Hakeem, I don't really care. Do we really want to watch Christianity and politics? Snark caption, true. Snark tent. Maybe we should call it there. What do you... It's getting like... Yeah, it's getting a bit late. It's like really late here. No? Okay, fine. Let me find something better to watch then. Since Blanket said no. It's only 10 p.m. I have a job. I don't know if you know this. Also, Charlie shaved his head for some reason. Uh-oh, my dog's making noises. No. We'll watch one more thing. We watch one more thing. Okay? Give me a second. Okay, one more. Okay. All right, I'll put on like a 4-hour video so Blanket is just like dying. Blanket, we can watch Creepcast if Megu wants to go to bed. Ooh. Okay, I mean, if you have plans, you know, that's fine. I can call it a day. And yeah, you know, I can go to sleep. My dog is losing it right now. So this kind of works. All right, guys. I will catch you all later, okay? No. Go do Creeper thingy, yeah? All right. Thank you all for stopping by. I love you all. You can join too if you want. Nah, I gotta go and probably feed the dog and get ready for bed. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by. I had a lot of fun. Okay. Yeah. If you haven't already, please subscribe. You know, I need more subscriptions. And join the Discord. Yeah. I'll catch you all later. Okay. Have a good night.